now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Find somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Yes, good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Mother-Loving Show. Yes, it's Thursday. We almost there. We almost there, guys. It's almost the weekend, y'all. Even though we still work on the weekends. You know, us weekend warriors, all y'all out here hustling, doing what you need to do. Okay, good morning. Good morning, damn it. Good morning, my beautiful people. I hope you guys all doing well out there, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening. Again, because I know a lot of y'all watching. There's a lot of people watching all over the globe. The sun is, I guess, about maybe going down soon for you guys, and on some corners of the world. And some of y'all, the sun is still rising for you guys. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to paradise. Yes, welcome to paradise. Anyway, which is the Pascal Show. Why not? Why not? We're here for fun, okay? Wagwan, okay? Buongiorno. Buenos dias. Sac passé. Guten Morgen. Okay? Bonjour. Comment vas-tu? And all of that good stuff. Good morning to everybody. Konnichiwa. And all that good stuff. Can't get all the languages in. I don't know them all. Okay? But good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Okay? Again, like I said, another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. Okay? Guten Morgen. All right. Please do me a favor before we get into everything. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms, like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. I'm on all of them. So make sure you hit that follow. Follow. Please and thank you. Go to my YouTube channel. Subscribe right here. Subscribe, love. Do that for me, love. Give me that love by hitting that subscribe button there. Yeah. Go over to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there as well, please and thank you. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all on both channels so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, it is random. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out that Patreon. And of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. Go check it out. We got some really great stuff. PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys. We got some things to talk about. Okay, guys. Lots of things going on. A lot of things were percolating overnight. And, you know, while we were resting our weary little heads, a lot of other things were popping off in this Nolan Wells case. And, of course, we have to let you guys know, just so you know, in about 15 minutes, there's allegedly going to be a presser held by attorney Benjamin Crump, accompanied by the family of Nolan Wells, Tyler Smith, and with the family of Daniel Irving. Now, we talked about this before, and we will be talking about it today again, just so you guys know. And, of course, I want to pull this up so you guys can see this as well, because, again, we should just do a quick reminder on the post. So, even so, this was just posted about an hour ago, all right, on Benjamin Crump's account. All right, today we stand with three families who deserve answers. Attorney Benjamin Crump joins the families of Nolan Xavier Wells, Daniel Irving, and Tyler Smith. So these are all the families together. And then, of course, in the middle is Benjamin Crump. And Corey, thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Good morning to you, too. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you, too. All right. Good morning to everybody. All right. Now, for those of y'all who don't know who Daniel Irving is, who Tyler Smith is, we may do a quick breakdown of that before we get into everything. But from my understanding, there was a shooting that Tyler Smith's situation is a shooting situation. They say police were saying that he lost his life by, it was self-inflicted, if that makes any sense. But the family feels like something else sinister happened, right? Then you have Daniel Irving. Daniel Irving is a young man, 18 years old, that happened to drown when he was out hanging out with two other kids at a river, and he drowned. The two kids ended up getting arrested and charged with tampering with evidence because as soon as he perished, as soon as he drowned, these kids ran off with his car, discarded his clothes like off on the side of the road, and deleted messages in his phone because they were trying to hide the fact that Daniel Irving lost his life in, let's just say, if he did just drown, lost his life in front of these kids, and they didn't want to be connected to his demise. But the family of Daniel Irving is fighting for those two kids to actually get hit with murder charges because they believe they did something sinister. These two kids did something sinister to Daniel Irving because Daniel Irving, who apparently was a really great swimmer as well, lost his life by drowning. But of course, at the same time, when you have them covering it up, throwing things away, tampering with evidence and all that, it's going to make people ask questions. But it's interesting how they were able to get into the phone, delete things off of his phone, threw away his clothing, and tried to discard his car, drive it far away from the crime scene, which is weird that they took his car. Okay? So again, that's the other thing. And of course, we already know about the Nolan Xavier Wells case because we've been talking about that quite a bit, okay, over this past month. All right. I Can Prep too. Thank you so much. Is the press conference alleged or just scheduled? It's scheduled. It is scheduled. I mean, it's right here on the flyer, right there. Join us live at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time with three families who deserve answers. And it says right here, Attorney Benjamin Crump joins the families of Nolan Xavier Wells, Daniel Irving, and Tyler Smith. And they're going to be live in a little bit from now. In about 10 minutes, we will be hearing from Benjamin Crump and the families to find out exactly what they know. Okay? Yeah. All of it's no bueno. Okay? All of it's no bueno. We're gonna hear, I'm sure, a lot from a lot of people here very, very soon. But just so you know, I mean, this is scheduled. So it's not alleged. It is definitely scheduled. It's about to go down. What he's going to unearth, what is he going to show, improve? I don't know. I honestly do not know. But I am quite curious about this. Again, let me just show this to you guys as well. This is what we showed last night, letting everybody know, media alert, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, the families of Nolan Wells, Daniel Irving, and Tyler Smith will speak. So these are the three, and we're going to kind of do a breakdown of the middle of it there as well. King Mike, thank you so much. This isn't a press conference. It's a damn prep rally. I guess we'll see. We will see. We will see, Mike. We will definitely see. Okay? We will definitely see. I mean, again, we'll find out what's going on. But you got three young men lost their lives in very strange ways. Tyler Smith, I'm still trying to understand that one a little bit better, personally, because that's still a new name for me. But I'm sure Benjamin Crump will explain his whole story and his whole case during this press conference, which will be happening in about 9 minutes. But just reading the big chunk of this paragraph here, just so you guys are reminded, okay, families of Wells, Irving, and Smith are going to be together at the National Urban League annual conference, and there apparently will be updates provided, I'm assuming on all of them, including Nolan Wells stuff as well. So that's why we're here to listen to this, because obviously we have talked about Daniel Irving's case in the past. We have definitely been talking about Nolan Wells. Tyler Smith is a very, very new case for me. This is the first time ever. Last night was the first time I ever heard his name, to be really honest. But we are going to hear more about that here very shortly. But let me just read this part, okay? So he says all three were 18-year-old black men who died within 3 months of each other, which is wild, okay? And in each case, the families dispute or are still awaiting the official account of how their son passed away. Nolan Wells, an Ocean Springs, Mississippi student athlete, traveled by boat to Horn Island with friends on July 4th and then did not return with the group. A park ranger found his body 2 days later, and the cause of his demise has not been determined. Daniel Irving, an honor roll student and swimmer, apparently a very strong swimmer, okay, was at Lake Ray Hubbard near Rolette, Texas, with 2 white teenagers on April 13th and did not come home. His body was recovered 4 days later, and his death has been ruled an accidental drowning. But yet the family wants murder on those 2 kids because they think that something else happened. They got deleted messages. They're discarding his clothing. Why would they do that if he just drowned? And if it was just an accidental drowning, why would you do that, guys? Why? You see what I'm saying? See, like I said, has nothing to do with the fact that in my personal opinion, has nothing to do with the fact that they're white kids. This is good versus evil. This is good versus evil. This is making the right choices or making bad choices. Why did this happen? And of course, if there was racism involved, then this will be a different story, right? If they were screaming out the N-word as they were allegedly putting Daniel Irving underwater, that'd be a different, you know what I mean? So like I said, there should be an investigation. But at the end of the day, this is good versus evil. And evil wears many faces. Oh, and good wears many faces too, okay? Just so you know. This is good versus evil, guys. Good versus evil. But let's continue. His body was recovered 4 days later, and his death was ruled an accidental drowning. Tyler Smith, a recent Lafayette High School graduate, died of a GSW, or gunshot wound, in Lexington, Kentucky on July 4th. Crazy. July 4th for Nolan, July 4th for Tyler Smith. Police reported the shooting is accidental and self-inflicted. An account his family disputes. According to a Lexington Police Department citation, the firearm officers recovered did not match the shell casing found at the scene. Wild. 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 So again, sup with that case. Sup with that story, right? So, of course, we're going to be hearing from Benjamin Crump and his team about all of this. Because like I said, I'm quite curious about all of them too. And of course, we have been focused big time on Nolan Wells. But there's a lot that I want to know about these other cases as well, okay? Apparently they're saying, well, we'll see, but they're saying that this could be a major development in the Nolan Wells case. We will see, won't we? So let me see this really quick. Just making sure we got something, something popping up. Let's see. Let me try this instead. In fact, I'm going to pull this up while we are, because the parents did an interview that just posted about 42 minutes ago on News Nation. So we should take a look at this. I'm going to look for the actual live feed. Give me a second. Let's rock and roll, shall we? Don't forget to hit the like button down below. I see a bunch of y'all in here. I appreciate all y'all spending your time with me. You could be watching anywhere else. You decided to be here. That really means a lot. Check it out, okay? Take a look at this.
With the autopsy results inconclusive, rumors continue to swirl around the death of Nolan Wells, the 18-year-old who was found dead after boating with his friends on 4th of July weekend. Wells' parents and their attorney, Ben Crump, spoke with Chris Cuomo earlier tonight, and Nolan's mother said there's only one question she wants answered. Watch.
At the end of the day, we would want what any parent would want, which is answers to find out what happened.
They also listened to part of an interview that Brandon Tatum did with one of Nolan's friends, and here's how Nolan's stepfather responded to it.
You heard that kid Trace in the interview say that he was friends with Nolan and that you guys would know him. Do you know him? Do you recognize him?
No, I don't. Just because you park your vehicle in someone's yard doesn't mean that they have to know you. Sounds more to me like he's more focused on getting people to know him and getting away from the fact that his so-called best friend is not here anymore.
Brandon Tatum is the host of the Officer Tatum Show, and like I just mentioned, he spoke with some of Nolan's friends. He joins us now. Brandon, thank you.
Man, he been everywhere. Dang, I didn't know he was going to be on this. I got to be honest. I didn't know he was going to be back. But here's the thing. Haven't you noticed, like, it's like there are so many other people that are so hardcore on this case, and we haven't heard, like, we haven't seen anybody else. There's been the people who've been doing some crazy good work on both sides of the fence. I just want to make that abundantly clear. There's been people who have been covering this on both sides of the fence. Why haven't we heard, like, I don't feel like we're hearing a lot of people on the other side of the fence. You see what I'm saying? Like, we hearing the hell out of Brandon Tatum because let's be real. He's black and he's on the side of, like, you know, nothing nefarious. Well, he's now saying something nefarious could have happened to him, but it had nothing to do with his friends. Fine. That's fine. But I also find it interesting that we don't really hear much of the other side, the opposing side. Everyone's bringing him on, but no one's bringing, you see what I'm saying? Like, I just find it interesting. Like, there's so many other individuals that want justice, that want a better understanding of what actually happened. If justice is needed, let me just repeat that. If justice is needed, we don't know what happened to him. We still don't know. But I think it's really interesting that you see what I'm saying? It's just weird. Remember how the other day, you know, like in the very beginning of this, they were bringing like other black commentators, you know, and it's like the only time that they bring in black commentators is when it has to do with like a black case that goes viral, right? Like a Nolan Wells, and they suddenly just bring in every black person, suddenly just pull out, dusting them off like, you know what I'm saying? Come on over. This one has to do with your people. Come on over and talk. You know what I'm saying? It's just ridiculous. I just think it's very interesting. Bring somebody else on. If you got Tatum on, bring somebody else on as well, so we can hear both sides, because there's a lot of people that want to hear both sides of the fence. Okay? I'm just saying. Just find it interesting. Anytime it's like when they were doing the Diddy situation, every black journalist they brought out to cover that. I'm here outside of Diddy's mansion. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow. What's your name? Joan? Damn, Joan, I didn't even know you even existed, girl. Joan Jackson. Ain't that so? Where'd they hide you? You just been sitting in the corner of the newsroom, just writing copy. That's it. But as soon as it's black, suddenly, pow, they all come out. Brandon, cool. Use him. That's fine. But I'm just saying, I want to see the other side too, the opposing side, just a little bit, because the opposing side out here screaming, okay, their opinions, literally. All right. Come on now. Come on, man.
For being here. So first, just your reaction to Nolan's stepfather saying he doesn't recognize his friend Trace, who you interviewed, basically alleging that he didn't know him very well at all, if at all.
It's slightly disappointing. I mean, I don't know these people, to be honest. I don't know who's really friends or not. I'm just going off of what Trayston told me. But Trayston did share pictures of him with Nolan at prom. He told me he not only just parked the car outside, he had been over Nolan's house multiple times, and he also gave Nolan a ride to school on multiple occasions. So it's very confusing. I don't know why a young man would say that he's friends and literally be emotional when he talked about Nolan. I mean, he literally cried and teared up off camera, and I felt like it was very genuine. And for the parents to say that they don't know him at all and won't even consider the fact that he believed he was friends with Nolan, it's very shocking to me. And I don't know if they're being genuine, because you don't always know your children's friends.
Right.
Wow.
Or are they still trying to hold on to this agenda that no one who disagrees with the narrative of racism can possibly be associated with them, because it destroys their money. Well, I'm not saying the parents' money grift, but Benjamin Crump's money grift.
Wow. That is a statement. What say you on that? And don't worry, I got the live coverage. Okay, they sitting there percolating, so we waiting. There's a whole live stream starting soon type thing, so we waiting. Okay, it hasn't happened yet. All right, the stream literally just started like 2 minutes ago, and they're just saying live stream starting soon. So we're waiting on this press conference. Press conference hasn't happened yet. They running late. Okay, but here's the thing. Interesting that he's like, yeah, this whole grift for Benjamin Crump, they're jacking it up, so they can't really say much about knowing this kid or not. Here's the thing: there's still a good possibility that they may know of these kids, but may not know these kids. Just because they say, yeah, we don't know them, like we see them in school and stuff. Sure. This kid, Nolan, could have been good friends with these kids at school and may not have just been all up in their homes all day long. Okay? Real talk. Real talk. This, life isn't a TV show. It ain't a sitcom where it's like, oh, you see, Sam coming in every day with his funny, goofy self, always around Nolan being stupid and goofy, and they're always around each other 24/7. There's other friends out here that are going to be close with Nolan that may have never had full-on sentences, conversations with their parents, with his parents. Just saying. Like, it's a very strong statement to say, oh yeah, they're just feeding into the grift so that Benjamin Crump could keep on making his money. Come on now. Come on. Stop it already. You just know what I'm saying? Like, this is a family that's also grieving too. And they want just to understand what happened to their son, just like everybody else. You see what I'm saying? They're hurting. They're angry. They want to know what's up. Like, you're out of pocket for this one, son. I'm gonna be real. You're out of pocket. Sorry, you're out of pocket.
Yeah, I mean, we heard from Nolan's parents, and of course his mother. Any parent would want to know what happened, and she expressed that. But there are motives with Ben Crump and his history. There are lawsuits now suing his friends and social media companies, fueled by Ben Crump. Do you think that he's helping this family or hurting them in their quest for answers?
Well, Katie, I think he's destroying the reputation of this family and also hurting this investigation. The fact that he put out the autopsy prematurely when law enforcement didn't even put out the autopsy it can convolute the investigation, because now when you interview witnesses, you don't know if they are saying things because they saw it on television or have they genuinely had an experience only they would have if they were actually there at the scene. And then also, I want to believe his mother. I don't have any reason necessarily, because I don't know her personally, to believe that she would just lie. But I do believe that she But when I look at the facts, why wouldn't she communicate with with Warren and their family? They showed me text messages. They showed me phone calls where they called and reached out to her. And if I personally want to know what happened to my child, the first person I'm going to talk to is the people who last saw him alive. I don't understand why they take the position of saying it's us versus y'all.
Okay, hold on.
And now you want to subpoena phones and do things like that, which are going to take, I don't know, months for it to come out. And they may not even be granted. I mean, you got to think Nolan was an adult. He wasn't a kid. So some of these social media platforms may not even grant them access to his account if they don't have somewhat of a legal search warrant. So I just wish that they would have come together as a community and got to the bottom of this, got information, and then shared it to the public instead of, making it a divisive thing up front.
Yeah.
Okay, so, real quick. I just need to say this. Okay, first and foremost, when you finally get a phone call from somebody, say that, because apparently Warren reached out to her twice. First time, it didn't go through. Second time, apparently he got in touch with her saying, hey, Miss Christine, we don't know where Nolan is, right? Then, of course, later, if they were trying to get in contact with her, wasn't she busy trying to find Nolan? And these are the people that were supposed to keep an eye on him and also, take him back home. But if they said, hey, we left him on the island and that's all you know, and that's what you've heard, instantly you're going, where's my son? So then you're going and doing everything you can to find out where your son is. Then at the same time, maybe she already talked to people, maybe some legal representation or something like that, basically saying, yo, don't talk to him anymore. Keep looking. Keep looking for your son. Find out what's going on. See what's popping. These kids aren't telling you the full truth. You also got to remember, during that same time, they were also Life 360ing his phone, Nolan's phone, only to find out that phone was in the possession of Warren and the friends. Doesn't that spark up red flags for you instantly? It's like, why is my son on an island gone, missing at this point, and his phone is over here? You see what I'm saying? Instantly, I'm side-eyeing. Instantly. Now, sure, maybe some people will be too busy trying to find Nolan. Maybe mama was too busy trying to find Nolan. Remember, she's not the one that went to the friends to pick up Nolan's phone. It was Javion's mom that went out there to get Nolan's phone. Why do you think that? You know for a fact if she had the bandwidth or the time to go over to the kid's house, I'm sure she would have gone over there just to find out what the F's going on and so that she can get the phone. But she was too busy trying to find her son at that moment. I'm just saying. As much as it's like she coulda, woulda, coulda, shoulda, well, there's a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda with Nolan's friends too. And there's a lot of red flags there's a lot of math that ain't mathing. There's a lot of stuff that seems a little bit strange. We're going to stop this because I thought it was the interview with the family. I was wrong.
Now,
and I have this here, okay? Because the press conference has not happened or has not started yet at all. I want to show that to you guys too, so you guys see proof positive that we are still waiting on this press conference. Take a look. Still waiting. This is live right now as we speak. So as soon as it gets going, we will get into this. But like I said, I see, this is the thing that's really frustrating about this is that how polarizing this case has become when this case does not need to be as polarizing as it is. And I get it. There's going to be people who are going to be team drowning, and some people are going to say team foul play. That's fine. I still think there's one thing that I do agree with Brandon Tatum. One thing. I know. Shocking. Something happened, and I don't think it has anything to do with race. I really don't. Something happened, though, but it don't have anything to do with race. That's just me. That's just me. Who that something who did the something to Nolan? Don't know. Don't know. Yeah, I know some people are like, wait, so is Pascal blaming the boys? Nah, I ain't even blaming none of the boys. I ain't saying that at all. They still on the table. They still are suspects. That's it. The only bad thing that they could have done, let me just keep this up so you guys can see this. The only bad thing I think that they've done is that they left the kid on the island. That's a possibility. The worst thing they could have done was leave that kid on the island. That's possible. I mean, that's literally the only thing that they're saying right now. So if that is 110% the truth, then that's the only thing, right? Somebody saw something or somebody did something to this kid. That is it. That is it. Now, if Nolan lost his life because of the color of his skin, then we'll talk. But for right now, we don't know anything yet. So racism is a possibility, but I'm not sitting there going, oh, it's because these white kids took this kid out and now it's he was a sacrifice or something like that. No, I don't think that at all. They took him out because he's black. No, I don't think that at all. Not yet. There hasn't been any proof of those things yet. You look at like Ahmaud Arbery, that young man that lost his life. He was running through a construction site of a house. He was running through that, and then he was chased down by a bunch of people. Okay? There was breadcrumbs of showing racism with those guys. Those were murderous, racist, deplorable monsters. You see what I'm saying? There's no breadcrumbs leading to that yet. So we're still waiting for some things. I think this is a good versus evil thing. I think something happened, or someone saw something happen to Nolan and did not render aid, did not render help to this young man. They just turned a blind eye and walked away. Or they did something to that kid. We are going to put racism on the table, but it's going to be off to the side until we get more information. You see what I'm saying? Let's get the information first. Now, as you guys can see, press conference is going to be happening fairly soon. The sound is on, so they'll be up here very, very soon. We will see what happens here. One second. Got you, T. Done and done, T. Splat out. Let me know you Gucci, all right, T? I appreciate you, man. All right? But like I said, let's see what happens here. Let's see what's popping. But I think it's wrong for everyone to just automatically go with the whole, oh, the family's grifting. I just think the family wants to know what the heck happened to their son. That's it. That's it. It's the same thing when we've seen on other cases, right? In other cases where they'll sit there and be like, oh, they're raising all this money. Nah. What about that girl Shiloh? Remember that girl Shiloh that called this 5-year-old kid on a playground the N-word, and then she was caught on camera and everything? That girl raised $1 million for being a racist, for throwing out the N-word at a 5-year-old kid. She raised $1 million. This is a kid who went missing for 2 days, and then his body washed up ashore in the same area that he was partying at. Of course people are going to want to know what the hell's going on. That girl raised $1 million for throwing out the N-word, son. She didn't have no missing person. She didn't have nothing. Only thing that she did is say the N-word. Caught on camera. You know what I'm saying? And if you noticed, there were other people that did the same damn thing too. Did they not? Other people that were like, oh, let me go to Give, Send, Go. I'll make a quick meal because I said the N-word. Other people are doing the same damn thing. Turned into a whole new trend. Suddenly, you're now saying the $1 million word. Ain't that crazy? That's wrong. That's grifting. That is grifting. There was no investigation needed for her. None. She still had posts and stuff like that, doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down, saying the N-word and everything. You know what I'm saying? She made $1 million, y'all. $1 million. Okay? Come on now. Come on. Grifting my ass. Come on. All right? With the family, I don't know nothing about Benjamin Crump. Okay? Don't know nothing about Benjamin Crump. I'm talking about the family alone. Family wants to know what the hell's going on. They need that money for that investigation. Maybe that money for Benjamin Crump. All right, fine. Let them raise their money. These investigators and all the stuff that they're in the middle of, I'm sure is not cheap. There he is. Benjamin Crump in the flesh. Let's unmute.
Justice for Daniel Irvin. 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 Justice for Tyler Smith. 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 Justice for our black children. Justice for our black children. Justice for
y'all the fun ain't.
Justice for our black children. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let me say how much I appreciate you all coming out.
This is the audio?
Important media conference.
Hold on. This is trash. Hold on. Let me see what's up.
Organized this press conference for a few purposes. One purpose is because we want the world to know that the National Urban League and all of our affiliates and members and supporters across the country are standing with these three families. And when families suffer the tragedy of the loss of a child,
Found another one. Hold on.
it gets lonely. Yes, it does. And when families suffer the loss of children under circumstances that are suspicious and to the naked eye appear unjust, we must stand with these families. Amen. When families face the challenge of a non-responsive criminal justice system, we must stand with these families. With this giant of a lawyer and advocate over the last 15 years, going all the way back to Trayvon Martin, we have stood with Ben Crump and his clients and we have stood with Ben Crump and his clients because we want the community to know that we are not going to be silent in the face of injustice. Amen. You and I cannot even fathom the pain of these families. I want to thank them for their courage in being here in public under the glare of the media in these circumstances. But we want them to know they are with family. We are standing with family. So Ben Crump is going to bring us all up to date on the latest facts, events, and status of these 3 cases. And we are going to continue, as we said in the earlier session, to advocate until there is just.
Don't do that. Don't you dare do that. Oh, that's not good. That
For these 3 families. And we will not be silent. We will not get distracted.
Come on now.
Until justice. So I'm proud to introduce a man who is known as the, and I dare say he stands with the great lawyers that our community has produced.
Hold on. I don't know why that doing that.
Thurgood Marshall, Constant, Johnny Cotton, and I can name so many others, who over the years have been advocates for our community in many, many ways. So ladies and gentlemen, the next voice you are going to hear is from one of America's
families to be here at this great convention. We are so grateful to him and the others in the civil rights community for standing up like they have stood up in the past. And just like we got justice for George Floyd, just like we got justice for Breonna Taylor, Lee Merritt, just like we got justice for Ahmaud Arbery, we gonna get justice for Nolan Wells. We gonna get justice for Daniel Irvin. And we gonna get justice for Taylor Smith. And the large part is because you all are not afraid to speak truth to power. Thank you, Mr. Mario. Again, I'm Attorney Ben Crump, along with Attorney Lisa Park, Attorney Eric Hertz. We are here fighting for the family with other great lawyers, for Nolan Wells. We also have present with us the family of Daniel Irvin, who many of you are just learning about outside of Dallas, Texas, and his tragedy. We have Attorney Sean DeRaya and Attorney Brooke Cluse fighting to help that family get justice, and we want to applaud his mother, Tamika, who has been fighting as only a mother would fight with not many people in the world listening. But we're listening today, Tamika. You are not alone, Tamika. You got Nolan's mother and father, Christine, and Elmore Wansley, who are standing with you as well. Tamika, your daughter is here. You are not alone. God, please let her know she is not alone. Justice for Daniel Irvin. Attorney Harry Daniels, we also have the family of Tyler Smith, Lexington, Kentucky. You're going to hear from all these families. You're going to hear from Tyler's mother and especially his grandmother. You know, until the lawyers get there, until the community advocates get there, a lot of times these families are just by themselves, President Marielle. And thank God for this mother and this praying grandmother who refused to let them sweep the death of her grandbaby under the rug. And so I will say briefly about each of these tragedies. obviously many of you know about Nolan Wells. And you'll hear from his mother and father after brief remarks by Attorney Hertz and Attorney Park. But we all know July 4th, Nolan Wells goes with friends, celebrating the 4th of July. All the friends come back. Nolan Wells tragically washes up on the shore 2 days later, dead. And so we know all the current events that have been happening. We are announcing that we have the audio from the officials, and we have retained and are consulting with some of the foremost audio engineering experts to review those audio tapes from the CTO call in its entirety. We also, and Attorney Hertz may go into greater detail on these matters, have consulted President Mariel with oceanic engineering experts to talk about how these facts are lining up. The fact that they say Nolan's body was found in the same location where they say they left him at. And so we want to know, how is that possible with the oceanic tides? We want the experts. I mean, you got low tides and high tides. It's not adding up, so we are going to dot every I and cross every T until we find out what happened to Nolan Wells. Attorney Hertz will also go into a little more detail at Attorney Park about how we're trying to coordinate with Dr. Roger Mitchell, who conducted the independent autopsy of Nolan Wells, to be able to inspect his throat that was missing with his body when he was flown to do the autopsy with Dr. Mitchell. Also, we are hopeful that they will discuss with Dr. Mitchell the photographs and observations made at the time when Nolan was first discovered, because Dr. Mitchell did not get an opportunity until July 10th to be able to examine his body. And at that time, we know the airways and the lungs had already been dissected and so forth, so we can't tell if there was the presence of water or not. That would suggest whether he drowned or not. And remember what Dr. Roger Mitchell said in his autopsy. President Mariel, he talked about the fact that to say he drowned does not draw the conclusions of what happened to Nolan Wells. He said it is equally important to know at what condition was Nolan Wells' body when he went into the water. Was he conscious or was he unconscious? Was he forced into the water or did he go unforced into the water? He said all of these things are very important. And so we're dotting I's and crossing T's. We are focused on getting to the truth, and we stand for the truth. Me and everybody on my legal team stand for the truth, no matter who it implicates or who it exonerates. We stand for justice, no matter who it convicts or who it acquits. And we stand for transparency, so everybody can see. And that's all we want. We want answers. We're not casting aspersions on anybody. We are saying that we want to make sure everybody who is remotely involved has their questions answered, to make sure we have a full and fair and impartial and transparent investigation. And is that too much to ask for these broken-hearted parents? Is that too much to ask? That's how, if it was your child, wouldn't you want the same thing? And I get it, they're attacking me, they're attacking Reverend Al, they're attacking the parents of Nolan Wells. We don't care about those distractions. We ain't no waste time. We are completely focused, completely laser focused on getting to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us, God. And so the threats, the attacks mean nothing to us. We will not be deterred. Look into our eyes. We're going to get to the truth. I am so grateful to Mr. Byron Allen for donating $100,000 to the GoFundMe so we can help get the best experts in the world. I am thankful to Reverend Al Sharpton. I am thankful to Mr. Tyler Perry. I'm thankful to Mr. Terrell Owens. I am very thankful to everybody who did not think it robbery to say, what can we do to help people get to the truth and call in to the tip line so we can help not only Nolan Wells' family, but we can help Daniel Irvin's family, and we can help Tyler Smith's family as well. Everybody on social media, please continue to ask questions. Please continue to share photographs, share videos. It all helps us solve this potential of what happened to Nolan Wells. I mean, isn't it so important? Somebody saw something. Somebody knows something. As Christine and Elmore have said, if you're really Nolan's friend, you know in your heart of hearts that if the roles were reversed, that Nolan would say something. He would call and tell what he saw. And so that's all they're asking. Do for Nolan what he would have done for you. Do for Nolan what he would have done for you. Do for Nolan what he would have done for you. Congresswoman Beatty, we thank you in the Congressional Black Caucus. Please stand and join us, Congresswoman, because you all asking the questions from the Department of Justice and the FBI. It's important that we have the full weight and force of everybody who has any kind of authority to be able to help us get answers on Nolan Wells and the other 18-year-old black boy. Now, before I bring up the lawyers, I just want to say a word about Daniel Irvin and about his case, and you'll hear from Attorney Sean DeRaya, and after you hear from his mother, Tamika. So similar, and what they're saying about Nolan Wells, and that is, her 18-year-old son, President Maria, Congresswoman Beatty, two young white teenagers come, pick them up from their house, leave, they go on, I guess it's an alleged vision trip. Her son, I guess they are saying, accidentally drowned.
Okay, so I'm going to pause that really quick because apparently the other feed is back up and running again with better sound. So we're going to listen to that one instead.
They go on.
No.
I guess it's an alleged fishing trip.
Hold on, we're getting to it.
But his two friends then throw away his clothes. Right, Sean? Throw away his cell phone.
Rolling it back just a little bit.
Go and delete all the... Pick them up from their house.
Much better.
They go on, I guess it's an alleged fishing trip. Her son, I guess they are saying, accidentally drowns. But his two friends then throw away his clothes, right, Sean? Throw away his cell phone, go and delete all the text messages between Daniel Irvin and them, and then say nothing. If it's an accidental drowning, why wouldn't you come to his mother and tell her he drowned by accident? Why wouldn't you go to the authorities? Why wouldn't you go to somebody and say there was a terrible tragedy, he accidentally drowned? But no, they go throw away all of the evidence that is germane to finding out what happened. And it's only after his mother raised all kind of hell, and for 4 days they are searching for what happened. Minister Dominique Alexander and the activists in Dallas, they're saying, no, something happened to Daniel Irvin. We got to get to the bottom of this. Then and only then, Mark Mariel, does the young people come forward to the authorities with their parents, and they say, well, we were there, and they confess that they threw away his cell phone and his clothes, and they deleted the messages. And so law enforcement charge and arrest them after 3 months. 3 months passed. Not until Nolan Wells started making the news did they finally come and they arrest them, but not for the death of Daniel Irvin. They arrest them with tampering with evidence, and that's it. And what his mother is saying, what Attorney DeRea is saying, what Attorney Brooke Cluse is saying is simply this: if they would lie about his cell phone and throw it away, if they would lie about his clothes and throw it away, if they would lie about deleting text messages between Daniel and them, how can you believe it when they say it was an accidental drowning? They need to take this case to a grand jury. And you're going to hear from his mother talk about other things that don't add up, about the conduct of the boys immediately after the drowning, the alleged drowning. It's so critical, important that we remember Daniel Irvin as well. And then Attorney Park, Attorney Cluse, we talk about Tyler Smith, and I'll just try to paint the picture real quickly for you, and then you'll hear from these parents, these broken-hearted parents. 4th of July. You can't make this stuff up, Congresswoman Beatty. Attorney Daniels, 4th of July, same 4th of July 2026 when Nolan goes missing. Tyler Smith in Lexington, Kentucky is the only black person in the home where they're having a 4th of July small house party. Somehow, Tyler ends up being shot in his head.
Whoa.
Dead. 911 is called. They come, the police get there. They tell them that he shot himself, that they were playing Russian roulette. That's what they say.
Whoa.
They say, this the gun. The police retrieve the gun, and then they take their word as the gospel that he shot himself. They don't do gunshot residue on the hands of Tyler or nobody else. I mean, basic investigation 101. If you say he shot himself, wouldn't you bag his hands and wouldn't you test it for gunshot residue? But they don't do that. And you're going to hear from his grandmother and his mother as to the explanation, the implausible explanation.
That's insane.
That they offered them.
That's insane.
And the fact that the gun, President Mariel, that they claimed he used to shoot himself with, the police, after they do analysis, it does not match the casings that they found on the floor to where he shot himself at. So still, they are taking their word for it.
That's crazy.
And it's 7 days later, right, Ms. Nisi? 7 days later, after they then say, who all was in the house? They have to identify everybody who was in the home. And then they have to track down, well, if this is not the gun that caused the death of Tyler Smith, well, where's the gun at? So they have to go investigate, and they go surround one of the young men's houses, Lee Merritt, and they surround the house. He doesn't come and volunteer after knowing that they're trying to find out and get evidence about what happened to Tyler Smith and come forward voluntarily. They have to go to his house and surround it, and then he comes out and finally he volunteers that this is the gun. Think about that,
Wow.
Kathleen Trigg. Just think about that for a second.
Is that
you
true?
would think,
That's
after all
crazy.
of that, he is surely going to be arrested and charged with killing or being in some way responsible for the death of this 18-year-old young black man.
That's
but
insane.
no, he is only charged with tampering with evidence, correct, Ms. Nisi? Nothing more. And nobody in all three of the questionable deaths of these 18-year-old young black kids, nobody has been held accountable in any way. And so that's why we're here saying that we are not deterred. We're not going to let you sweep it under the rug. We're going to get to the answers of what happened to Nolan Wells, what happened to Daniel Irvins, and what happened to Tyler Smith. 3 18-year-old black boys in a 3-month period around 4th of July, 2026, who all were unalived in very similar ways as Nolan Wells. And I'm very thankful to his parents for using the attention that they were given and blessed with to also give attention to these other 18-year-old black boys. Thank you, Christine. Thank you so much, Elmore. At this time, before we get to your questions, you're going to hear briefly from Attorney Eric Hertz and then Attorney Lisa Park with some updates, and then you'll hear from Nolan Wells' parents. Attorney Eric Hertz, a great civil rights lawyer.
That's crazy, y'all. That's crazy.
Thank you for showing up. I have some brief updates on the Nolan Wells case. We have been working with the district attorney. We've gotten a letter back yesterday, and she's willing to listen to some of the evidence we have, although we're having to still discuss her giving us back evidence, and that's something that we will see. The phones, not just our clients' phones, but the other phones that are involved in this situation, we are trying to coordinate and have come to a tentative agreement with the district attorney to go ahead and have them investigated together jointly with our experts as well as their experts. And I believe, if I'm not speaking out of turn, the FBI is going to also be present there. And that's going to show a lot of stuff that we haven't seen. I'm going to keep this short, but as I always say, and would like to say one more time, society is judged by how the most powerful treat the most vulnerable, and justice will prevail.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Attorney Eric Hertz. And now you will hear briefly from Attorney Lisa Park, who heads up our Atlanta, Georgia office and has been leading on this effort for Nolan Wells.
So today I just want to recognize all of these families for coming here today, traveling here to Nashville, even family that's here in the audience. If you think for just a moment, for these tragedies, they really just happened. They really just happened. And if you've ever had a loved one that you've lost, it's hard. And you feel like going into a quiet place by yourself, mourning, grieving, doing all of our own religious rituals, right? And so it's quite hard that these families have had to come into the spotlight to stand up for their children. This is not where they want to be. No. And for those people who somehow think that they want to be in the spotlight, I guarantee you, this is not where they want to be.
Amen.
For all of these families, for every single family member that is suffering through these losses, So I want to commend all of these families. I also want to commend them for coming together as a group, right? Because all of us, we are stronger together.
Yes.
We are stronger together. And there are so many unanswered questions for all three of these cases. But there's hope. And I see that hope because we do get calls.
Yes.
We have been getting over 100 calls a day.
Wow.
And I want to thank everybody who's called in, because for every time there's a hater that's saying that these people just want the spotlight, when somebody calls in with some encouragement, when somebody calls in with some information, it makes up for that.
Amen.
Because we know that we're stronger together. These questions, these cases can be solved, and we can do it together. So I want to thank everybody for calling, right? But I also, last thing, I want to encourage those who have not called yet, and you know that you have some information. One, I know that it's scary. I know that you may be scared. But if there's a time in your life to do the right thing, this is it. And you just have to be brave. And go ahead and please call us. These people, we need you. We need you. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. Thank you so much. Thank you, Attorney Park. And as Nolan's mother and father get ready to come, I cannot express to you how encouraged we are that we're going to get to the truth. I mean, so many things are coming to light, and we're going to get to the truth. We are not trying to cast aspersions on anybody. We want the truth. We want the truth. That's what we want. And like we said, if that implicates you or exonerates you, then you got to talk to your Lord. You got to talk to your God. But we want the truth and nothing but the truth. And if it was your child, you would want the same thing. And so that's why everybody who got children, you could understand the pain, the agony that this mother and father have been dealing with since 4th of July. How people came, within hours of finding him saying, well, no foul play, just go on. How do you tell somebody just go on when my son is dead and nobody's giving us any answers? All those people out on that island, and you mean nobody know nothing? Nobody saw anything? No, we refuse to accept that nobody knows nothing. We're going to get to the truth. We're going to get to the truth. We're going to get to the truth, and it's starting to come to light, because truth is light, and we're going to get to the truth. Y'all give it up for the mother and father of Nolan Wells, Elmore, and Christine. We're going to get to the truth.
Thank you all for being here today. It has been 27 days since we have been able to talk to our son, to hug him, to tell him we love him. This has been the most difficult time we have ever had. I want to tell you who Nolan was. Nolan was a God-fearing, God-loving child. He loved everyone. He was the person who would just make you feel comfortable just being in his space. He was never one to exclude. He always wanted everyone to be happy, to feel good, to have purpose. He would lift anyone up. It didn't even matter if he didn't know you. If you took that moment to just tell him a little bit about yourself, what you wanted to do with your life, right then and there, Nolan would be your biggest cheerleader. Today we are begging, because I'm not too proud to beg. We are begging, if anyone knows anything, his friends, strangers, please call the hotline, because we will not be able to rest until we get answers. But please understand that all of these distractions, these other questions that people, the attacks that people have sent our way, just know we will not be distracted. We are ready to do whatever we need to do as his parents to continue advocating for him, because Nolan is not here. He is not here to speak for himself. He is not here to tell us what happened. So again, we will not rest until we get answers. And if you know something,
say something.
You need to let us know. Please do not be afraid. Okay? Thank you all so much again. We truly appreciate your love and support.
I'm faced with a new challenge every morning, waking up, trying to process this. It's the biggest challenge I've ever had. I pretty much was raised up like a lot of you. I didn't have a lot, but I always said I wanted to give my children more than what I had. And I think me and my wife, we did that. We raised Nolan to love everyone, be kind to everyone, because it was just the right thing to do. I got a lot of stuff going, but what I really want to say is, and like my wife said, if you know something, and you are really, if Nolan was really your best friend, or for the people who said that he was their friend, please come forward and tell us what you know. All we want to know is the truth. We're not blaming anyone. We just want to know the truth. Any parent want that. And
Benjamin Crump's claps are so intense.
also,
Damn.
the disrespect that's been coming toward my wife and my family, for any parent, no matter what race you are, they need time to grieve. A parent can't grieve when you have people attacking them, attacking their jobs, attacking their character, just attacking them, period. Like, where's the empathy at? We, as Americans, this is a diverse country. Not no one race made this country. We all made this race, made this country. So we all need to come together. And like I said, if you know something, please come forward and just call our attorneys, give them information, and they'll take it from there. Just help us out, and not just us, but all these families. All these families need answers. Anyone with information on any one of these cases, please come forward, because losing a child is something that you got to live with for the
They
rest of your
sound
life.
like gunshots. His clapping sounds like gunshots. Have
And
mercy.
President Mariel, I would just say the attacks, Christine has been a nurse for years, and she hasn't ever gotten negative reviews. But since she has been advocating to find out what happened to her 18-year-old son after he was washed up dead on Horn Island, sick people have been going on her company's website giving her negative reviews.
That's out of pocket,
Can you
y'all.
all imagine anything worse than that? That is a shame before God. They are just sick, evil people who would attack this mother and this father for simply saying, we want to know what happened to our child. Don't worry, Christine. We standing with you. We are standing with you. Yep, and next we're going to have the mother of Daniel Irving come and talk about her child and tell you what happened in her words, and then you'll hear brief remarks from attorney Sean DeRea. Oh, well, Sean, you want to briefly go? Attorney DeRea will briefly speak before her, and then we'll have Tamika go.
Thank you, Mr. Crump. Tampering charges in this case is absolutely unacceptable. Tampering in itself
No doubt.
means that someone intentionally hid, destroyed, or altered evidence. If the district attorney's office has that evidence, take that evidence, put it together, and present it to a new grand jury.
Amen. Amen.
And if the district attorney's office doesn't want to do it, we are calling on an independent investigation by the Department of Justice, because we are here for the truth. And one last point I want to add to what Mr. Crump said. Daniel Irving, when these boys said that he drowned, he was a high school swimmer. He was on the swim team. He was a healthy, young 18-year-old male. So that story that he drowned accidentally, it doesn't add up. It does not add up, and we want the truth.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Attorney DeRea. Attorney Brooke Cluse. We'll say a few words, and then we'll hear from Tamika Irving.
Police and law enforcement are supposed to be protecting and serving. But my question today is, who are they protecting and which communities are they serving?
Wow. All right, bro.
What we want to know is why crimes against Black and brown people receive less justice and less coverage. And I'm going to give you some data to back it up, and I'm going to read it because I don't want to make any mistakes here. Over a 10-year period, statistics show that 53% of Black killings go uncharged, no charges related. And so that means over half of those related killings are never prosecuted. And when you think about arrest rates, 63% of white victims receive justice versus are compared to 47% of Black victims. So when people think we have two systems of justice in this country, the data kind of backs that up.
Amen.
And now we'll hear from Tamika. Daniel.
Okay. Okay, baby. My name is Tamika Irving. I am the mother of Daniel Irving. This is my daughter, Azaria Irving. This is Daniel's eldest sister. So what a lot of you guys don't know, to give you like some context, my son told me that he was going to go outside and hang with some friends, okay? And I was under the understanding that he would be in the neighborhood. So I didn't know where my son was. I thought that he was just visiting friends in the neighborhood. Around 8 o'clock or so, I started to text Mike, call Mike. And Mike was an honorable child. He wanted to serve and protect, be in the military. He loved people. He always had a joke to tell. He was very comical. So I called the police the following day at 12:30 in the morning, and I said, hey, my son ID is here, and his money is here, and his Social Security is here, and I don't know where he's at, and this is not like him. So I'm reporting him missing under suspicious circumstances. The officers were very dismissive. The officers were very dismissive. So I didn't get any information about where my son was. I canvassed the neighborhood. I knocked on doors. I asked neighbors for video footage. I had to do the footwork, the research, the investigating. I had to do it. And so to the mothers, to anyone out there who have a loved one, do not wait for the police to do their job.
Yeah. Fight for our children.
Okay, so fast forward, I reported my son missing. My son was to graduate in May. He was unable to graduate because the two boys murdered my son. They said my son jumped off a bridge, and I know that's not the truth. He was found in water. And not only that, my son was on the swim team. He was very comfortable with swimming in the pool, swimming in lakes. The autopsy report shows my son had an unobstructed airway. So my son did not drown.
My Lord, my Lord.
I want to know why the people that are in place to serve and protect failed to do their job from the very start. When I reported my son missing, it took them 35 hours, over 35 hours to input his information only in the state system, showing that he was missing. They failed to enter his information in the NCIC, the National Criminal Database. Being my son was under 21, law enforcement had a responsibility to enter his information within 2 hours, and they failed to do that.
Fight, Tamika. Fight.
My son will fight for me, and I'm here to fight for him. I want justice. We are in the pursuit of justice.
Yes, ma'am. Justice for Daniel Irvin.
Yes.
Justice for Daniel Irvin. Justice for Daniel Irvin. And the final family you will hear from is going to be the family of Tyler Smith, who many of you haven't heard of at all. And I want to have his family, who drove from Lexington, Kentucky to the National Urban League Convention, to say that Tyler Smith, life matters too. Y'all, please give him a round of applause. Tyler Smith, life matters. Tyler Smith, life matters. Tyler Smith, life matters.
I want to thank everyone for showing up today, supporting all these families. I was asked many times, who is Tyler? What does Tyler mean to you? And I had to take a deep dive into that, because to give a few words wouldn't be justice. So I went into my prayer closet, as most nanas do, because see, Tyler calls me Nana. And when people ask me to tell them, I find a struggle in finding words big enough to describe who he is. Tyler is charismatic. He's warmth. Tyler is love. Tyler is compassion and tolerance. Tyler is focus and determination. Tyler is an entrepreneur with dreams, goals, and a vision for his future. Tyler is a calming presence, a peacemaker, and a source of comfort to those around him. Tyler is that warm piece of cake straight out of the oven, that soft buttermilk biscuit that the butter glides across the top. Tyler is the depth of a baby's laughter and the warmth of a grandmother's hug. Tyler is what many people spend a lifetime searching for, but never fully find: a genuine soul with a kind heart and a beautiful spirit. For me, Tyler is much more than all of those things. He's my motivation, my determination, the wind beneath my wings. Even in his absence, he continues to give me strength. He has become a part of the reason I stand, the part of the reason that I keep moving forward. When I received that call at 6 a.m. that morning that my grandson had been involved in a shooting, I thought, okay, hand, foot. And I arrived up on the scene of the hospital and found out that this was a gunshot wound to the head. Again, I'm a praying mother. I have a son who a year ago had a near fatal car accident. I know what God can do.
Yeah.
You can't tell me what God can do. I've seen it. I watch it every day. I watched him learn how to walk and talk. And I comforted his grandfather and said, don't worry about this. We've already been through this fire. It'll be okay. When the physician came out and pronounced my grandson, and she stated, self-inflicted, accidental, I told her, you're a lie, and there is no truth in it. I explained to her immediately, I said, how do you have this evidence for you to know this? She said, because they said. I said, they said? She said, yes. As days progressed, my family and I began to move forward. We got none effort, energy at all from the Lexington-Fayette County Police Department. We were told that we needed to accept accidental, self-inflicted. They offered no traces of gun residue, even though I called the coroner's office and the police department. And I begged and pleaded, please, bag his hands. No child, and I say child because it's relative, no one was searched on the scene. They took an investigation as a total from all 5 of these young people and said, they said this is what happened. I asked for gun residue on anyone. The answer that I was given, well, there's no need to bag his hands. Everyone in this room would have gun residue on them.
Unbelievable.
That was their excuse to me. When they moved my grandson in an expedient manner, not to our local coroner's office, but to the state capitol, which I was told wouldn't happen until that following Monday. Miraculously, in 2 hours, he was on his way to the medical examiner in the Capitol. On Monday morning at 10 a.m., they came back and told me again, accidental, self-inflicted. For 17 days, my sons and I worked tirelessly, investigating everything on our own. The police department gave us nothing, absolutely nothing. They treated me as if I were a pyra, asking all the wrong questions. Why do you need to know? We've handed you that carrot already. Take a bite. Settle down. It's accidental, self-inflicted. As I talked to the police chief, I explained to him. He said, well, what do you want from this? What are you looking for? I said, what would you be looking for?
Exactly. Exactly.
I want transparency. I want you to simply do the job that you were paid to do.
Amen.
My family never asked you to go above and beyond. We just ask you to earn the paycheck that you either receive this week or the next. We ask you to simply, the same way you go into our black and brown neighborhoods and you can investigate and you can interrogate and you can charge, give us the same respect.
Amen. Amen.
Tyler is loved. He's loved. But most importantly, Tyler calls her mama. Tyler calls me Etta. That's my baby, y'all. He's my baby. It will be my dying breath to say his name. No stone will go unturned. I'm not afraid to go to hell and sit with the devil about mine.
Wow.
I want it known. I want transparency. I want someone to speak on it. Continue to say our names. Continue to say our children's names.
Yes.
We deserve answers. We deserve justice.
Yes, ma'am.
We deserve transparency.
Yes.
That's all we're asking for.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I thank you all so much for the time and the space that you have given every one of us.
Justice
we
for
appreciate it
Tyler
more than you
Smith.
know.
Justice.
Justice for Tyler Smith. Justice for Tyler Smith. And we're going to get to the truth on Tyler. I promise you, we're going to get to the truth of what happened to Tyler Smith. At this time, President Mario, we're going to ask that the Congresswoman just say a brief word and then take questions. Vince Evans, CBC, thank you all very much.
Let me simply say the two most powerful words we can say. To you as families, to the Urban League family, to you, President and CEO, and my good friend, to you, Attorney Ben Crump. Thank you. But let me just say, the Congressional Black Caucus, we aren't just coming today. We communicated with Attorney Crump, with President Mark Morial, and we stand with you. And I'll end with your words, Mark. We're going to let justice roll down like a stream and righteousness like mighty waters. We are the Congressional Black Caucus. We stand for you, for justice, transparency, and righteousness. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman.
This has been moving.
Oh, they're
and
taking
powerful.
questions too.
We want
Okay,
to
never
take
mind.
questions from members of the media.
Okay, here we go.
Members of the media. If anyone in the working media
What?
has a question for
No. I'm
Attorney
still here,
Crump,
guys.
and please identify yourself, speak real loudly. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. And that's an excellent question because thank God for us being able to get the national attention on Nolan Wells' case. And that doesn't happen just by coincidence. It's a lot of the civil rights community, a lot of the activists, Reverend Al, people like Byron Allen, Tyler Perry, everybody on social media coming to say, no, this ain't adding up. We got to find out what happened to Nolan Wells. And then we get contacted by our good friend, Attorney Sean DeRea, saying that, hey, we got a similar case, Attorney Crump, where you co-counsel with us, and Attorney Brooke Clue start working with them. And then we get a call to the call center, President Mariel, and I simply can't believe what happened to Tyler Smith. It shocks my conscience. And so Kareem Ali and Cliff Jones, my investigators, they start to investigate, and we're saying, this can't be true. They really didn't do a gunshot residue test on the hands? That's basic. And so it hits me that all of them are 18-year-old black kids that died in very questionable circumstances when Nolan was the only black kid on the boat. Daniel was the only black kid allegedly on the fishing trip. And Tyler was the only black kid at the 4th of July celebration party, house party. And all of them are 18 years old. Look at the dates. That's eerie when you look at the dates. February 8th, Tyler Smith is born. July 4th, 2026, he is dead. Can I see the other photograph? This is Daniel Irvin. He's born November 21st, 2007. He is dead on April 17th, 2026. Where's the other one? Nolan Wells, born August 19th, 2007. He is dead in July of 2026. The day is yet to be determined. All of these young black kids were born in 2007, and all three of these black kids died 2026, 18 years of age, on the cusp of manhood. And I said, no, we got to show that this is not a coincidence that all these young 18-year-old black men are ending up dead and nobody is being held accountable. No, we got to ring the alarm. We got to ring the alarm. We must ring the alarm for these 18-year-old black boys.
Let me also add this. Thank you. Our members who were planning to come to Nashville asked me late last week if we would be commenting on, dealing with, shedding any light on the Nolan Wells case. I invited Ben Crump to come to Nashville to brief us on the Wells case. In the course of that conversation, he shared with me, by the way, there are 2 other similar cases. I said, 2 other similar cases? I said, Ben, can you bring all of the families to Nashville? Because the thousands of urban leaguers who are here are interested in, have a solidarity with, want to hear directly, not through filters, about the circumstances of these cases. And that is what the National Urban League Conference is all about. It is about dealing with the pressing, cutting-edge issues that face the nation and face Black America.
Amen.
So we are here because this is what we do.
Yes.
Whether it was Trayvon Martin back in the early teens, Michael Brown, George Floyd, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice. We deal with these issues because our constituency wants to hear directly. And I want to say this. We trust Ben Crump.
Yes.
And we know that he does not engage in chasing false cases.
Amen.
That he also, when he takes a case, that he's going to elevate the word and the personality and the pain of the families.
Yes, sir.
All too often,
Yes, sir.
when Black families are victims of violence and victims of unfair justice system, they suffer in silence. They can't find lawyers with the courage and the ability. They suffer in silence. So I know when Ben Crump has a matter, he is always welcome at the National Urban League Conference to come and bring us up to date. And that's why we're here in Nashville. Other press questions? Any others? Yes, ma'am. Identify yourself, please. New York Post.
Come here. Christine. Yep, we know about the question. We were ready for it. This attack and this threat to sue us and the family for defamation, it's a distraction. We're not distracted by it at all. It's about getting to the truth. That's what we want. And that's what we're focused on. We haven't done anything other than ask questions to get to the truth. Okay. Another question? Can't hear you. Okay,
let me respond to that. That accusation doesn't deserve a response.
Right.
It has no dignity.
What was the question?
Associated with someone standing up for children who have died. We don't waste our time arguing with donkeys. We don't waste our time arguing with people who want to distract from the real issue. We have 3 dead Black young men under suspicious circumstances. And I don't think the New York Post ought to give elevation to distractions like that. This is such an old story. We fight for justice and someone suggests all we want is publicity.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what
the money
happens
thing.
when we stand here? Our inboxes are filled with hate messages, hate mail, hate this, hate that. No one. Our dignity in standing up. And I'm not you're a reporter, you work for the paper, your editors told you to ask this question. I want you to know we will not be distracted. And I'm not going to, Ben Crump is like any lawyer. He should get paid for his work. Just like every Wall Street lawyer, every Trump lawyer, every insurance defense lawyer. And I really want everyone to understand, let's not be distracted.
He did call them donkeys.
Don't be distracted. Let's not give oxygen. Let's not give air to haters and distractors and dissuaders. So thank you for your question.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What's your question?
I wish they would like repeat the questions.
We celebrate all.
So let me say this. I'm going to say this. I will not ever surrender the fact that I am an American. However, we celebrate Juneteenth. I don't necessarily celebrate July 4th, but I note it as an important day. And I'm not going to fall into the trap that some want to. I fly the American flag in front of my house. But on the other side of my porch, I fly the Juneteenth flag. And we are not going to let anyone diminish our birthright, our constitutional right, our birthright to be treated fairly and justly in this country. It is very difficult and challenging in these times, but we are not going to be tricked. We're not going to be dissuaded. We're not going to be distracted. I am an American. I am an African American. I am a Black American. And I'm proud to be one. But I think we need to clearly understand that African Americans, Black people, and civil rights leaders have always been the conscience of this country.
Amen. Amen.
Have always been loyal to the nation, even in the most challenging times.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to suggest it's easy for us. But what we're not going to allow is for people to marginalize us, treat us like second-class citizens, or suggest that somehow, let me tell you what a true patriot is. A true patriot stands up for justice.
Yeah.
A true patriot stands up for the families and the victims of violence. A true patriot holds the justice system accountable, doesn't make excuses for an unjust justice system. So we got to understand that we're not going to get tricked and cornered into people suggesting because we stand up for justice, we're something other than a true and full patriot in this country.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel. I said last night, I was born in a segregated hospital, born in a segregated city, watched my parents and their friends fight and litigate and march to open doors of opportunity.
Amen.
The reason why these times are so tough and why they're so difficult is because if we are not careful and if we are not vigilant and diligent, our children and grandchildren will be relitigating the battles of our parents.
Yeah.
This movement in this country to turn back the hands of time is palpable. So when we stand up for these families, and we'll stand up for other families, and we'll stand up for other people, We're doing it because we are true patriots. We're doing it because we believe in justice. We do it because we're going to hold the justice system accountable. This Urban League movement has a mission.
Yes, sir.
And its mission is something we will not surrender. Like the Congressional Black Caucus says, we have no permanent friends. We have no permanent enemies. We only have permanent interests.
Amen.
So thank you for your question.
And let me say this before I move on to the final two questions. You know, we as African Americans, as W.B. Du Bois said, we have this duality. I mean, on one hand, we know that when the founders wrote the Constitution, they never expected that the rights would apply to us. But like my personal hero, Thurgood Marshall said, I know they didn't intend it to apply to us, but we're going to make it apply to us anyway because we are American citizens. And if anybody built this country, it was our ancestors with the tolling in the cotton fields. I mean, doing the things that made this very young country become such a prosperous country at such an early age in its infancy. I mean, when you think about what slavery did to elevate America, that were our ancestors. So, yes, I'm going to celebrate the 4th of July essence every year because my ancestors built this joint. And then I'm really going to celebrate on the Juneteenth because I know that is what we do to acknowledge our ancestry. Just like Jewish Americans celebrate the 4th of July and their important dates, just like Italian Americans celebrate the 4th of July and their important dates, just like Spanish Americans celebrate the 4th of July and important dates to them. Black people, we celebrate the 4th of July because we built America.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have one more.
CNN and Our Woman TV, and then that's going to be
Okay, go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
I have Sean speak briefly to Daniel Irvin, but that's why I was brought in to bring attention to Daniel Irvin in case Sean and his team and their mother been fighting and not making progress, but we're going to get the answers. Sean?
We have not had any progress with the Dallas County District Attorney's Office. We are planning, Mr. Crump and I, to meet with the District Attorney if he will meet us, and we want to talk about this case, we want to talk about this evidence, and we want to move this forward, and we want murder charges. Is that right, Mr. Crump?
Absolutely. You know, one of the things that Sean and Tamika said, Ryan Young, she said that there was a witness after the drowning that said, Tamika, the young man was limping when he came back. And that was part of the investigation. And she's saying, well, why didn't y'all explore that? Like, why are you limping? You're saying my son jumped off the bridge. Why that's going to cause you to limp?
Yes, that is true, and there was a witness that provided video footage via flash drive to the detectives, and they failed to enter that information in the probable cause affidavit.
It's all right.
The witness also said that the detectives just grossly overlooked that, and they failed to enter that information. Again, I know Daniel did not drown, and tampering with evidence is offensive for the murder they committed.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions? I would just respond to this here on Ryan's case. And his mother believes her child was murdered. We are still trying to get all the information, Attorney DeRay and I, but she does not believe her son unforced went into a lake, a high school swimmer, and drowned. She just isn't accepting that, and she has a right as a parent to question that. As it relates to Tyler Smith, we're going to have more information coming forward because of the hard work of his mother and grandmother, and we think the shoe is about to drop on that. And we're going to meet with the district attorney. We haven't yet, but we're going to meet with them because people are starting to come forward. And I again thank the parents of Nolan Wells because people are coming forward in their case. That's inspiring people to come forward in Tyler Smith's case as well. So thank you all for coming forward. She had the last one.
Let's go here and then Kathleen.
Okay.
My message would be that we have to have tough conversations. This is something our community already knows. We have to make sure that, and I know my husband and I, we have had countless conversations with all of our children about the importance of understanding when you are moving in different spaces with people that do not look like you. And it's unfortunate that we have to have these conversations, but they are needed in order to hopefully keep our children safe. So I would say to all the mothers out there, especially my Black mothers, we just have to keep pushing forward. We have to do the things to protect our children.
Kathleen, last question. You want to go first? Or you want me to go?
I mean, this is so tragic that this is why Ben Crump is so important. This is why when families face these types of challenges, they need good counsel. They should not wallow and try to handle it themselves. They shouldn't just go to community leaders and politicians, although that's important. They need good counsel. They need good civil rights counsel. They need people like Ben Crump or Lee Merritt, and there are many, many others around the nation who do this kind of important work. And I just encourage families that face cases of injustice, cases where they want answers, to work to get good counsel. We at the Urban League, our affiliates, we get calls all the time, and what we try to do is guide them in the right direction. We try to help them identify counsel or people, and that is really, really important, the case. I want to confront the question you asked about race. Something in this country, whenever a Black person is the victim of an act of injustice, why is it when we seek justice, we get this smear campaign of playing the race card? I have seen this movie for many, many, many years, and we are going to call it out because we are not going to be dissuaded, distracted, or intimidated for standing up for members of our community. Let the charges come. I say it's like they're blowing bubbles. It's just a lot of rhetoric, it's nasty, and it's hateful. But you know what I found? For every loud person attacking us, there's 15 quiet people who represent silent supporters of justice. They may not speak out, they may not go on social media, but they're in solidarity, and we have to remember that. The loudest voices in the room are not the most important voices in the room.
Amen.
Let me thank you all for coming. We've got some other activities, our Women of Power Luncheon. Let's thank Ben Crump. Let's one more time thank these families for their courage, for their courage, for their courage. And I want to thank the media for coming out as well. This press conference is adjourned.
Thank you, Mark Mariel
Yes.
and the National Urban League.
Okay. And there that is. And that's all she wrote. Now, TMZ did come up with put up an article. And here's the thing. The problem is that there's not much, that's the problem. Like, they said, hey, we're going to drop some major news. The only news really is that they're going to be analyzing the phone call. They're analyzing the CTO call, the dispatch phone call that we all listen to. And of course, everybody and their mama is looking at the first half of it, side-eyeing the situation and asking all kinds of questions. So much that one of the kids was getting called out. I guess he's not getting called out as much anymore because people don't want to get, hit with defamation lawsuits. But, and of course, the other part is that the photo that has the kid in there is not, just so you know, is not Katie McCormick. Just so you know. So, and that's I think the reason why everything went wild yesterday and the day before, where everybody and their mom was sitting there just side-eyeing the hell out of the kid named Bart because of damn it, Bart. As soon as you hear damn it, Bart, then all of a sudden everybody's like, who Bart? And then suddenly a photo pops up and they're like, oh, that be Katie. And that's him with Katie. And it's like, no, that ain't Katie. I mean, that is Bart, but that's not Katie. So everybody went and spun off the planet thinking that Katie or Bart went nuts and did something terrible to Nolan because Nolan was hitting on Katie, and Katie, what the speculation was because of this photo of this girl that isn't Katie, but they automatically thought, oh, there was some strange love triangle thing going on, that Bart got upset, that Katie was starting to feel on Nolan, and then a fight ensued, and then that's when Nolan went missing. I'm just saying this it's just interesting. But again, just so you guys know, I mean, we just kind of sat through, about an hour and a half, give or take a few minutes of a press conference. And here's the thing. All of those cases need to be heard. Yes, I think that we should be saying Nolan Wells' name until we get the truth, until we get facts, whether that is foul play or not. There's some weird things that where the math ain't mathin', they should be answered. Those questions should be answered. That you have a grieving family that is adamant about getting the truth. Then you have Daniel Irving, a case that is weird as hell. You heard from the family. That one was very weird as well. They're over there. They say that the kid jumped into a river, but why would you cover up all those things? Why would you do a massive cover up if it was just an accident and he actually accidentally drowned on his own? Why would you go and cover all those things up? Like I said, the math ain't mathin'. And I keep on saying this. If you flipped it around, because the race does not need to be a part of this case, of any of these cases. Because if you flip the script, people would be asking the same damn questions. Okay? People would be asking the same mother-loving questions. So again, you have Daniel Irving, you had Nolan Wells, and then you have this one that is just out of this world. Tyler Smith. He's at a friend's house, they're kicking it, having a good old time, and suddenly they're playing Russian roulette out of nowhere, only for a trigger to be pulled and he gets hit in the head. And the fact that you are trying to get an understanding of what actually happened to Tyler, even that math ain't mathin'. Even the timeline and what they're trying to explain ain't lining up. The fact that they're saying the bullet casing did not match the weapon that they say that he actually used in this game. And then, according to, and I'm sure the family can back this up too, according to Benjamin Crump, they literally had to rally and get out there to the kid's house for that kid to finally surrender that actual weapon that was used that took the life of Tyler Smith. Again, this is weird. Very, very strange. Okay? Very strange. And again, like I said, unless we hear something about racism being involved, you know, it's like somebody said the N-word before Nolan lost his life, or Daniel or Tyler lost his life. This would be a different story. Then race will definitely be a factor. But right now, all we know are the facts that they have given us. And that's it. We don't know anything else. But we do have to address the elephant in the room. All three boys are black. All three boys are around the same age. And all three boys were hanging out with white individuals. Now, like I said, it does not mean that these white kids were taking these black kids' lives, these black young men's lives, just because of their race. But if you notice, it is true. There are certain things, certain cases that we've noticed, that I've noticed, that don't get the light, that don't get the attention, don't get the proper investigation, so on and so forth, solely because of the color of the skin. That is very true. But no, I do not think that within these cases, as far as we know right now, none of them are showing that this all happened because they were black. Sorry, just saying that out loud. One thing that I do commend the public, though, and I will give them love, okay? At least with this Nolan Wells case, everybody's been involved. And maybe everybody's been involved in you know, a lot of people, this has become a national story, maybe because of how polarizing it is. Maybe because of, you know, the race card being thrown in there. And maybe that's the only reason why everybody is showing interest in this case. Not because they really care about whether or not Nolan Wells lost his life in a nefarious way or not.
Executive Vice President, Forensics, and Chief Investigative Officer at Page One, who has spent more than 2.
Hold on. Sorry about that. That was weird. Not because that they're like, you know, thinking anything nefarious happened to him and they just want justice. It's literally the only reason why is because a lot of people are focused on the race thing than they are actually about the damn crime. Let me just end that with possible crime. Everybody's more focused on race and obsessed about black and white things. And people are taking certain sides instantly because they're like, oh, wait, he black? Okay, I'm over here. Oh, he black? I'm right here. Instead of actually finding out what actually happened without actually looking at the facts. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like that's one of the main reasons why we are seeing a case like this take the world by storm right now. Because people aren't done with the Carmelo Anthony, Austin Metcalf situation. People are still, still not done with that. And now we're waltzing right into another situation where a black kid, something bad happened to a black kid around white friends. Suddenly, race card ensued. Engine revved up. Instead of actually going, okay, what happened to him is odd and strange. Ain't that interesting? But so like that's all I'm saying. I just think it's very interesting what we have seen as of late, how people are giving a damn, how people are not giving a damn, how people are instantly siding with one side because there's some sort of racial bias, instead of actually trying to ask the honest questions of what actually happened to this kid. And yes, I think that if the shoe was on the other foot, there'd be a shift. If this kid was white, if Nolan was white and he was with black friends and this tragic thing happened, the whole thing would shift in a different way. And it would take national attention for sure. But everybody would be too busy looking at the fact that he's white with his black friends rather than actually looking at the facts and trying to find out what happened to that kid. It's kind of the same thing, like I said, the Carmelo Anthony situation. That has been a very controversial situation, but there were so many rumors, so many things that were sparking off that were not true about any of them, about Austin or Carmelo, okay? That people were just saying out there solely because of their racial bias. And that's the thing I've noticed here. It's the same BS. It's the same freaking BS. At some point, we're going to have to look at these cases and care about that person and want to know the truth and ask the questions that pertain to what could have happened to that person, not because of the color of their skin. I feel it interesting that you have the likes of, let's say, may she rest in peace, but the likes of Gabby Petito, or the likes of, let's just say, Nancy Guthrie, because the Savannah Guthrie, Nancy Guthrie, right here on the screen, right here off to the side here, on this TMZ feed, right? You look at all these other cases that everybody has just been so like, ooh, we just want to know what actually happened to them. And everyone pretty much bands together and is just like, for example, like with the Gabby Petito situation, you look at Brian Laundrie and his parents, right? Roberta, as I like to call her, right? And you look at them. And people are all together just basically going, ooh, dirty laundries, right? No, ain't nobody tripping about race. Ain't nobody going, hey, the only time that we talk about race about that case is because we would get upset about how, hey, so many white, blonde hair, blue eyed get a lot of attention over any child with melanin in their skin. But it's interesting that once you sprinkle a little race into a case, everybody on that real fast, instead of going, hey, let's find out what's actually going on here. What's happened? What happened to Nolan? Here's something else. Okay, I got a bunch of super chats that we're gonna read this article here, but let me get these super chats. And I'm reading them off screen because they passed. But during the press conference, I appreciate you guys sending all this stuff to me, so I appreciate that as well. Okay, so I can prep too. Thank you so much for the love. They drowned that boy, 100%, or it was an accident, 100%. Anyone who thinks they know, everyone thinks they know, but is unwilling to be swayed either way when the evidence comes out and just plain unreasonable. Yeah, I agree. I think that it's ridiculous that we can't just look at the facts for what they are. Okay, now I get it. Don't get me wrong. Let's not get it twisted. All right, the audio is weird. The GPS data is weird. The timeline of the boat leaving when they got towed and then they stopped getting towed, and then they went up to the original dock that they left from, and then they went out to Fort Bayou, and then went back to the original dock, and then went back to Fort Bayou boat launch, and then that's when they went and put the boat on the trailer and went back home. It's weird. Doesn't make sense. If you're having problems with your boat, why go out into the middle of the ocean again and risk it all? Doesn't make any sense to me, right? The dialogue that we're hearing in the very beginning of that dispatch phone call, wild, strange. I got questions too. They don't make no damn sense either, okay? Understandably, we want to understand what's going on. And understandably, we're side-eyeing everything and nitpicking on every single thing, but we don't know what truly is being said there. But apparently, now Benjamin Crump has hired experts to analyze that phone call as well, that dispatch phone call as well. So maybe we'll find out more information. Here's something else that I think is strange too. The mother-loving autopsy. Now, we just heard, we just heard Brandon Tatum say, oh, yeah, I think it's unreasonable and I think it's messy as hell that Benjamin Crump put out his independent autopsy before Jackson County put out their autopsy. You want to know something? I don't think we were ever going to see the autopsy from Jackson County. If you noticed, the DA has now sealed that information until they do their grand jury. So the world's never going to know that information. That seems a little bit odd, don't you think? It's a little odd. That's not on Benjamin Crump. He's got to get the information out there. You also got to remember, his job also is to keep Nolan's name alive in these streets. If it starts to die out, he's going to jump out and be like, hey, we have something else. We got new information, so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying? And that's the situation that I feel that we're seeing right now. That he's like, hey, I got to give everybody an update. I got to give people what they're wanting. The obsession is real. The focus is very real. We are still 27 days into this case, and still every day we're all trying to figure out what the hell happened. And if he's not keeping his name alive, sure, there's going to be people out here in the news and on social media that are going to keep on saying his name, but at the same time, it will eventually die out, kind of like Nancy Guthrie, like the Nancy Guthrie situation. And if you don't know about that Nancy Guthrie situation, I recommend you go check out all my videos. Okay? Take the time, check out all those mother-loving videos. It's absolutely insane that how high of retention that case was, and how quickly it got snuffed out by Sheriff Nanos, right? So again, like I said, it could easily be the thing that everybody's obsessing about and then quickly not be the thing that anybody's obsessing about anymore. And if there isn't that type of attention on a case, that's less pressure on 5-0 and on the investigation. So he's doing exactly what he needs to do, which is keep his name out here, keep it relevant. In fact, he just gave us 2 new names to start asking questions about as well. He's going, hey, I appreciate y'all applying pressure over here with Nolan Wells, but we also got Daniel Irving, and we also got Tyler Smith as well. Apply pressure here too. And that's basically what he's saying. Is that a grift? I don't know. I leave that up to you guys. All right? But at the same time, he's basically saying, yo, get savvy to these other cases, not only just Nolan's. But Brandon Tatum basically said, oh, yeah, I think it was wrong for him to do that. No, he's trying to stay relevant. And two, he's also saying, hey, this is weird. This is weird. You think that he would have all of his body sent up to Washington, D.C. for that independent autopsy. And it never happened. That independent autopsy, it was only a partial. He said, the forensic pathologist said, there was several limitations stopping us from being able to give a proper breakdown to his body, a proper investigation. And one of the main reasons why is because his damn throat was missing. You realize that if Benjamin Crump didn't do an early update on the autopsy and let people know what was popping off and what was going on, we wouldn't have gotten anything at all. And everybody would have been going crazy, being like, we need the autopsy results immediately. Where's Jackson County? Still, we're wondering where Jackson County is. I'm thankful that he did at least the preliminary results first, because we wouldn't have gotten the damn thing, guys, and we would still be standing here scratching our heads looking like a fool. So I'm thankful for that. But the first autopsy should have been the first thing we saw, and they held on to that. Why? Why did they hold on to that, guys? I'm gonna keep asking that until I'm blue in the face. Why? Okay. Moving on. Cindy, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. He's making it so that if it's not ruled foul play or racism involved, he's just riling up the public. So basically encouraging violence. Just my take. Diggity damn, Cindy. I don't agree with you on that. No disrespect. I don't agree with that. I don't think he's trying to incite any type of violence, Benjamin Crump. I don't think he is. I think he's trying to bring awareness. I think he's trying to let people know, hey, not only is there Nolan, but there's Daniel and there's Tyler. There's these three names where something wrong happened, and these are all strange situations that need to be looked into. I don't think it's the other way around. I don't think it's a situation of them being like, let me get people riled up so that they go and start burning things down in the streets and stuff. I don't see that at all. Personally, I don't. But thank you so much for the chat, for the super chat. I can prep too. Challenge. At the end, Pascal, give your honest opinion whether we watched a press conference or a pep rally. Thanks. I honestly think it was both. I honestly do think it was both. I mean, yes, in the very beginning, he's saying their names and he's saying justice for each individual person, but I also think it was a press conference as well. For all three cases, not only just Nolan Wells case. Honestly, some of y'all who are watching this press conference, some of y'all didn't even know that Daniel Irvin's case even existed. Some of y'all, including myself, didn't even know about Tyler Smith's case either. We didn't know about a damn thing. Okay? So again, I think it was both, but I think it was more of a press conference than a prep rally. Just so you know. But yeah, they were saying, say their name, blah, blah, blah. And then there was press conference. Because like I said, there was information in all three cases. Now, I want to say this too. There wasn't much in the Nolan Wells case. He just said, we hired experts to analyze the CTO call. Okay. Anything else? No. So that's it. Okay, so that's it. Okay, cool though. They're utilizing Nolan's name to bring us up to date and giving us awareness about these other two cases. Okay, I don't see anything wrong with that. 3 boys lost their lives in a strange situation. Okay? It's in a very strange situation, all 3 of them. All of them could have been accidents. All of them, or one of them could have been nefarious. All of them could have been nefarious. God only knows. But now we know their names. Now we know those cases. And that should matter. That should definitely matter. Let's see. Beautiful Messy Ball. Can you define triumph for me? I don't know. I think he misspoke or something like that. Get the triumph, right? Thank you so much, Messy. I appreciate it. April, thank you. That's how you know Ben will slap the F out of somebody. LOL. Yeah, his claps sounded, to me, I don't know what it was, but his claps sounded like gunshots. You know what I mean? Like his geez Louise. His claps sound like gunshots. All right? I'm surprised. Does his hands not sting? Have mercy. Okay? Have mercy. Star Fury, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Every year, every month, every day, young people, whether black or white, are being harmed. That's hard facts. Take a look at the recent crime of Carol Kowitz family. I don't know the Carol Kowitz family situation. I'm going to have to look at that. in a second. But yes, there are two systems of justice. Yes, I agree. I think there are two systems of justice. Okay, for sure. For sure. Golfing USA, thank you so much for the love. No, new video shows hundreds of people near the boat while the distress call was made. If a dead body was on that boat, people would have noticed. Thank you so much for saying that, Golf. Let me just say this. Yeah. And I already know that's going to anger people because everybody's set in their thoughts instead of thinking outside the box or be willing to be a little bit more flexible with the thoughts in your mind when it comes to this case, okay? Being a little bit more open-minded. Let's just talk about that really quick. If he was getting unalived and there was thousands of boats around them, thousands of people in the water, all that stuff, you really mean to tell me that nobody saw anything? And they're all just going, oh, black kid getting strangled. Anybody want a natty light? Like, are you serious? Come on now. That's weird. All right. When this whole boat situation was going on, it's not like they were all off on their own in a secluded area away from the party. They were right there where the party was. So everybody and their mama was on top of each other. So if something was bad to happen, if anybody put their paws on Nolan, you don't think people would have turned around? You don't think these girls would have been screaming like, stop? You know what I mean? Any of that stuff? None of that? I'm just saying. It's just very interesting. You know? Just very, very interesting. So again, yes, you know, I just think that I don't think that whatever happened to him was right there during that phone call with dispatch. I really don't. I really, really don't. I think whatever happened to him happened later. Remember, they say people saw him around 6 p.m. on the island. Now, we have to take that with a grain of salt. But if that information is true, that would mean he was still alive when the guys had already left. That they had already left Horn Island and were driving back and forth up towards the original dock that they left from and Fort Bayou. That would mean that he was still alive, kicking it. But who was with him? And what happened with him there? That's what I'm saying. The phone call, I just think is so diabolical for them, for anyone to literally be like, it feels like it's a movie. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we have and they don't have any problems with the boat, but they're lying. And whilst they're calling this dispatch, a dude's getting choked out right next to him. Yeah, please help us. We want to get our boat on sink, as Nolan is slowly slipping away as he's on the phone with dispatch. It just sounds like it sounds like a scene from a movie. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Where's Will Smith and Martin Lawrence? You know what I'm saying? Where's Bad Boys 7? You know, that's like the start of like a Bad Boys movie. You know, it just seems weird to me that would be the case at that moment. Moving on. JLK. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Let's see here. This is what these families have to go through to get answers through all the corruption. Exactly. Exactly. It wouldn't be a show if families got answers. Wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that be interesting? People sitting there going, oh, yeah, you know, these are grifters. These are this, that, and the third. You know, like one of the questions that was asked, I'm sure, was like, how do you feel about the fact that people are calling you guys grifters and just trying to scoop a bag? Some of these, like, I'd be upset. I'd be upset because it's like, how can you sit there and say something like that when all I'm doing is trying to get as much information as I can about where and what happened to my son? Here's my problem. Here's my problem, y'all. Here's my mother-loving problem. Okay, you take the Idaho 4. Take the Idaho 4 situation, for example. Okay, now just so you guys know, if you don't know about the Idaho 4 case, well, Brian Kohberger took the life of 4 kids in a house, okay, right outside the University of Idaho. And it was a really bad thing out in Moscow, Idaho. It was a huge case, all right? And it's absolutely insane what that guy did. Now, just a quick update. That dude now is sitting there saying, oh, I'm innocent. Can I retract my guilty plea? Because he pled guilty because he did this. But now he's sitting here saying like, oh, I didn't do it. I made the wrong choice and I want to retract. Can I renege what I said and start all over again, right? Coco, I call him Coco, Brian Kohberger. Coco did that ish, right? Now, let's talk about the families. In the very beginning of this case, everybody and their mama, this was another obsession, understandably. Everybody and their mama wanted to know exactly what happened. While this whole manhunt was happening, while they were trying to find who this person was, while they were trying to track down Coco, the families of these victims were starting to speak out. One of them happened to be Steve Gonsalves. Now, Steve Gonsalves, he a cowboy. I got mad love and respect for that man, real talk. But there was a moment where he said, multiple moments where he said, and they're white, by the way. All the kids were white. The killer is white, all right? He literally went on camera multiple times and said, I don't know what the police are doing. They're not telling us anything. They are dragging their feet. I don't understand why they're not doing anything to get things done. And what happened with the rest of the world when watching that particular case? They said, damn right. You better get that justice, son. Come on now, brother. Get that transparency from those police. What the hell they dragging their feet? Why are they dragging their damn knuckles over this? How dare they? But then you got families out here of the likes of Nolan Wells basically saying, we want transparency. We need to know what happened. Nah, right? Now suddenly they're grifting. Does that make sense to you? Just saying. Just saying. Okay? So as much as everybody's sitting there going, oh my God, they're grifting, they're doing this, that, and the third. These are parents that just want the same thing like any other parent, that are feeling like, hey, the police are not giving us enough information fast enough. We just want to know what happened. Brian Kohberger did some very dirty, bad things, deplorable things to these 4 white kids. One of the parents, not all of them, some of them just stayed in the back and stayed quiet. They were just sitting there like, we just want justice. We just hope that the police are doing what they need to do. But Steve Gonsalves, he was not having it, baby. He said, I ain't got better. I got better. I will do this job for you because y'all are wasting too much precious time. Move. Keep moving. We need to know what the F is going on. We need to know what the F is going on. And everyone, seriously, was right behind him being like, damn right, I like that guy. That man would die with his boots on. Oh yeah, that's a John Wayne right there. All day. But family that doesn't know what happened to their son is asking what happened, and they're grifters now? Families of the likes of Gabby Petito's family, etc. You know what I'm saying? All of them were asking questions. Sebastian Rogers' father, okay, but still out here going, I need to know what happened to my son. Ain't nobody going after them like that. They're just like, oh, my heart goes out to you. I hope you find what happened to your loved one. Come on now. Suddenly, as soon as it's like, we just want to know what's going on, they're grifting and they're trying to make money. That's messed up, y'all. That's wrong. That's wrong. Okay? That's wrong. They're asking for the same damn thing. And you know what? Here's the other thing, too. It's kind of sad because, like, for the likes of, like, the Idaho 4 victims, families, Gabby Petito, man, even Sebastian Rogers' case, that that local PD did him wrong. They did that whole case dirty. Okay, I'm gonna keep it a bean. All right, but all of these other cases of white children or white loved ones missing or lost their lives in some nefarious way, they never needed anybody controversial to jump in to speak out on their behalf to keep that particular case alive, like this family has to with Benjamin Crump, or these three families with Benjamin Crump. You realize that if it was just them out here and not Benjamin Crump, they probably would not have the same amount of attention. This would just be a story on the side. This would not be mainstream. You would not have people doing posts every damn 15 minutes. Another update on the Nolan Wells case. Another update on the Nolan Wells case. If it wasn't for Benjamin Crump and his controversial ass, think about that too, guys. Think about that for a second. Because there's other cases that we have talked about. And I'm not sitting here saying that every case is the same. But if you notice, as soon as he jumped on, everybody started to look. And then they did the media circuit. That's when everybody was like, oh, snap, he's a part of it. What? And of course, before all that happened, I think what really got the attention right off the bat was the fact that they had to go get that phone. And that what they believe is that these messages on his phone and, data, videos, photos, etc., were deleted on his phone. That's where it really started. Benjamin Crump came on 5 minutes later, almost, it seems like, and then everybody started listening. They did the media circuit and everything, and all of a sudden it became mainstream media. What happened to Nolan Wells? You remember like Riley Strain? Remember that young man out in Nashville kicking and all that? They didn't need a lawyer or a controversial name to be on that case, because this is screaming Riley Strain a little bit. May he rest in peace as well. Remember, frat boy from Mizzou was in Nashville kicking it. Apparently he was going hard in the paint, in the drinking. He ended up walking. From my recollection, he was walking in the wrong direction back to his his hotel room after a night of heavy drinking, and then his body ended up found being discovered in the river like weeks later, if I'm correct. Now, it's been a while since we covered that, but I want to tell you something though too. No controversial lawyer was involved. No name was on that. No, like name, if that makes any sense, was on it. It became national news because you had this young man disappearing out of the thin air. And what happened? Everybody and their mama wanted to know what was going on. And everyone's going, what happened to Riley Strain? Right? There was no need for a push from a Benjamin Crump-like individual. Riley Strain's name became national news almost within that weekend. And the family, all they wanted to know was what happened to their child. And was that family getting flack for demanding answers from 5-0? For calling out 5-0 for not getting enough information from them at all? In fact, 5-0 stepped up even harder, as I recall. As soon as the family said, we ain't heard nothing about any developments in finding our son, the very next morning, they held a press conference. 5-0. We're doing everything we can. We're scanning and searching. We got dogs, we got boats out there, but sometimes the water gets kind of high, so it's been a little bit tough because the levee, we went to the levee, but the levee was dry. You know what I'm saying? And so we went out there. We were trying to do our thing. We drove that Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. So we just waiting for more water to come in, and then we gonna start looking. They were doing everything they could to find him. Everything. And ain't nobody out here being like, how dare you? No. Everyone's like, oh my God, I hope you find Riley. Real talk. Family goes out and says, hey, we want to know what the F happened to our son. And suddenly, this family is a group of grifters. It's just insane. Like I said, it's insane. It's insane. Why can't we treat every family the exact same? You see what I'm saying? Why can't we treat every family the exact same? And that's it when it comes to these missing families. And we've covered a lot of different cases of all different races. And a lot of these families do raise money. They're going on Give, Send, Go or GoFundMe or something of that sort. And it doesn't matter their race. They're just raising money so that they have the best of the best. And ain't nobody sitting there going, oh, look at you. You grifting so you can make $1 million. No one turns a blind eye. People turn a blind eye to the money. They just go, okay, fine, I'll donate 5. I'll donate 50. It's no big deal. You know, I can spend that, no big deal. You know what I mean? But then suddenly out of nowhere, when it comes to Nolan Wells, it's they making a grip. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it, guys. It hurts my heart because it doesn't have to be like that. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Because here's the thing. What about these other 2 families? What about Daniel Irving? His passing's very strange. He could have just jumped in the river. All right? He could have just straight up jumped in the river. He could have. What if he was pushed in, though? Possible. Because here's the thing. The doings that these kids did after he drowned. Suspect. This has nothing to do, for me, like I said, I'm just looking at the crime. And the crime, in my mind, is colorblind unless they said something. Or in those text messages and stuff that were deleted from the kid's phone, from Daniel's phone, if there was some crazy stuff that they said, like, oh, you can't swim. I thought black people can't swim, or something crazy like that. You know, I could see something like that happening. Then yes, we would have to look into that, right? And then we would have to look at that case under a different lens. But for right now, all we know is this kid went into the river and he did not come back out alive. These kids grabbed his stuff, his belongings, and tried to cover up this potential accident or potential crime. The family feels like he was murdered. I don't blame them for feeling that way. I don't. Why would you cover all those things up if you did nothing wrong? Then you look over at Tyler Smith. Did he really pull the trigger? Was it really Russian roulette? Or was it something else going on? And instead of them actually bagging his hands, going and asking and investigating and searching these kids as well, they just say, oh, yeah, he turned the weapon on himself and that's it. I find that weird. And I would understand why any parents would want to know what happened to their son, because how they lost their life is strange. And how you hear about certain pieces of evidence aren't matching weapons that were allegedly used on him. Like I said, the math ain't mathin', and some people already have a bias against these particular cases solely because it has to do with white and black. And it's wild because if you closed your eyes and heard this whole, you know, like I'm doing a Time to Kill moment for you. Like I'm Matthew McConaughey. All right. I'm like, I just want you guys to close your eyes and imagine young boy pulls the trigger. Weapon doesn't match the bullet found lodged in his brains. and all the boys are white. What do you think is going to happen? How do you think people will respond to that one? They're going to clutch their pearls, and they're going to go, oh, my God. Whatever happened to Tyler, and in this case, what I just told you, is white at the time. I hope that they find justice, because that's weird. We need to find out what happened to Tyler. But given the fact that he's black, everyone instantly goes, nah, those white boys didn't do nothing. Nah. Oh, he white? Nah, that kid did something to himself. Yeah, no. He didn't do it. Those white kids didn't do it. Come on now. Come on. Think about it. That doesn't sound odd to you? For those of y'all who watch the world colorblind, as far as race goes, you're going to look at the situation and go, that's strange. That's strange. For those of y'all you're going to look at the other side and you're just seeing nothing but everything is just black and white, racially speaking. You're going to be like, oh, wait, Tyler, wait, was he, let me see that photo real quick. Is he white or he black? Nah, these kids didn't do not a damn thing. Nah, they didn't do nothing. Nah, he probably crazy and he just did that to himself. That's all. Daniel, he probably just jumped in on a dare and lost his life. Yeah, no, I think the kids, they just got scared and just wanted to cover things up because they didn't want to be involved in the death. That's all. No, the white kids didn't do it. Nah, they didn't do a damn thing. See what I'm saying? That's messed up. We should be exercising every question and investigating every option. That is it. Until we find out exactly what's going on. Put all the race crap over to the side and just look at the mother-loving facts. And if race is involved, then we have another conversation. Then that adds to motive. That adds to reasons why those kids would do something bad to these black kids. But for right now, I'm not looking at it like that. Evil wears many faces. Not all white people are evil. Not all black people are evil. Not all black people are good. Not all white people are not all. What am I saying? There's a lot of good people in the world, both black and white, and other races as well. Let's not forget. All right? Doesn't matter. Evil wears many faces. So again, I think it's sloppy for us to instantly sit there and say that, how dare you ask these questions solely because this kid is black or these kids are black. We got a lot of change that we need. There's a lot of work we need to do. Okay? It's a lot of change we need to do as a people. As much as I feel like we are changing and we've made changes in the world, there are still moments that I feel like it just keeps pulling me back. You know what I mean? And it's sad. It's sad. It's sad. Now, here's the thing. Denise, thank you so much for saying this. Pascal, race is involved. Look how these cases have been handled. How the cases are handled is different from the actual case. Do you see what I'm saying? Let's just talk about that really quick. Race is involved whenever it comes to investigation into black cases that are done, when something nefarious or potentially mysterious happens. Yes, that happens a lot. The due diligence is slow, right? It is a slow outcome. They just drag their feet on it. And it looks very, very bad. And there's a history of it too, right? But I'm talking about the actual case itself, the actual crime itself, I'm sorry. The crime itself may not be racially motivated at all. But when it comes to the actual investigation into that case, yeah, race is involved. Definitely. If this was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, all of them were blonde-haired, blue-eyed, kids, the investigation would be different. The investigation would be different. It would. And if any of the families came up and said, how dare you, blah, 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 whatever, you know what I mean? If that was the case, I feel a lot of people would be standing on their side being like, damn right, let's get justice. You see what I'm saying? But let's see. Sean, thank you so much for the super chat. Seth and the new Idaho 4 families have lawsuits out for their lost loved ones. Yes, they do. They do. But these families are grifters. Okay. If that's your opinion, that's your opinion. I don't see it that way. I see these families trying to get justice. I see these families trying to possibly raise some money so that they can get the right kind of help that they need to get a proper investigation going. Hold on, guys. Ooh, that's just my personal opinion. Okay? Because I feel like any person would be saying the same doggone thing. Any person that lost their child and needed the funds. Okay, do you know how expensive gas is? Damn! Dude, you know livelihood, just living on this planet is expensive as fuck. And then you got a lot of people, okay? You got a lot of people out here, all right? That are you know what I mean? Just struggling. Doesn't matter if you working in the healthcare industry or whatnot. Shoot, healthcare individuals don't make diddly squat unless you're a surgeon, or unless you're a practical, what is it? General practitioner. You see what I'm saying? Oh, Sean. So you were being sarcastic. Okay. My bad. Okay. Okay. Duh. Got me. But still, on that conversation, it's just, we live in a very expensive world. Imagine you having to drop serious money and you're giving a person, let's just say that their hourly rate is just astronomical and they're working 24/7 every single day trying to unravel the mystery of what happened to your son. That's expensive, baby. That's expensive, baby. And let's be real. Do you really think that Benjamin Crump is doing this on the free 9s and 9s? I guarantee you he ain't. These people are expensive. Just saying. I already read the next chat. Just saying. But let us get into this, okay? So just to recap, just so you know, all right, he is saying that now experts have the dispatch call to analyze. So they're going to analyze this. I don't know what kind of experts he has, but it is interesting that he has experts to actually do their investigation into the audio. Remember, you had an audio expert pull out the background dialogue for us to hear better. Even that particular person said, oh my damn, what I heard is unnerving. What I heard is very disturbing, right? And very shocking. And again, it's like, okay, I guess, okay, that makes sense to say how disturbing and shocking this is. Yeah, no pro bono for Crump. Are you crazy? Come on now. We've been known that he ain't doing that. He ain't doing this on the freeze 9s and 9. You know what I mean? That ain't happening. Trust and believe. All right. T, thank you so much for sending that to me. We did talk about that last night, but I will bring it up here in a second. Excuse me. So, Benjamin Crump says his team has hired some of the nation's top audio engineers. Yay. To review the full C-tow call from the day Nolan Wells disappeared, as the family's fight for answers continues. So he provided an update in the case of Nolan Wells at the National Urban League Conference, which we obviously just watched. announcing his team obtained the audio from officials and will have experts comb through the entire recording. He said they are also consulting oceanic engineering experts to determine whether the tides line up with Nolan's body being found near the same location where
This
it was
is
reported
Naomi.
missing.
She just discovered.
Okay, Naomi, cool. Moving on. So to see if the lining of like the tides line up to where his body was found, okay? Because again, it still doesn't make any sense that his body would be found in the same doggone location that his body was where he was last seen. It just seems a little bit strange, right? Of course, his mom, Christine, became emotional while describing the pain of going 27 days without talking or hugging her son, begging anyone with information to come forward so the family can finally rest. Now, I also want to remind you, even Warren's father has put up $50,000. Maybe he's conducting his own independent investigation into this case, but that would be $175,000 on the table now for anyone who has anything that could get an arrest or could shed more light on the last moments Nolan Wells was found living and breathing. I find that interesting. 175,000 smackers, y'all. And still no one's come out and said anything yet. Still no one's come out and said a damn thing, which is wild. Okay? His family says the death investigation has so far produced more questions than answers. So his family commissioned an independent autopsy, which we already know about that. And of course, a lot of people have been talking specifically about the red discoloration in the soft tissue at the back of his head. But let's not forget, too, his freaking throat was missing. Let's just not forget that, too. His throat's been missing. So they can't do a thorough investigation into his body, whether to find out whether or not he drowned or not, because, again, he did not have his throat. His throat is missing. Oh, that's the other part, too. Daniel Irving's mother said in her speech that they found out that he did not drown. That Daniel Irving did not allegedly drown. So again, that's causing a lot of people to, pump brakes and go, what? The hell's going on here? Very interesting. Moving on. So Mississippi has not released findings from the state's autopsy because apparently they're holding on to that until they actually do their grand jury. Preliminary findings from the independent autopsy listed his cause and manner of death as undetermined pending further investigation. The second autopsy did not have all of his organs, including his throat. Crump says his team wants to coordinate with the doctor who performed the autopsy, who performed the autopsy to inspect it. So again, I do think it's weird that he didn't have his throat at the time that he was doing his autopsy. And apparently there was no heads up about that either. But again, hopefully they'll be able to have a conversation with the doctor who actually performed the autopsy on that actual throat, and they'll get some more information from that too. I'm hoping. Okay. So they're saying, so according to Crump, he told TMZ, Nolan's throat, lungs, and photos of the original autopsy could help answer some of the biggest questions surrounding his demise, including whether he was conscious when he entered the actual water. He also added that the independent examiner could not determine whether water was presented in his lungs, in Nolan's lungs, which could help indicate whether he drowned. Yeah, that's also a big problem. You can't even do your due diligence into that either. And again, here's the thing. As much as those of y'all who are sitting there rolling your eyes and getting frustrated with this, let me just be real, okay? I wouldn't blame anybody. This should be red flag city for all of us with this situation, Okay? They didn't have everything. They had pieces of the puzzle, but they only had corner pieces. They didn't have the whole doggone thing. That's a big freaking problem. Okay? He added that even a drowning determination would not explain Nolan's condition when he entered the water, including whether he was conscious, unconscious, or forced in. So attorney Eric Hertz added that the team was working with the DA, who told them she is willing to consider some of their evidence. He said they are also trying to reach an agreement with the DA and FBI to jointly examine the phones involved in the investigation. Let's just read that again. They are also trying to reach they're also trying to reach an agreement with the DA and FBI to jointly examine the phones involved in the investigation. Why? I thought that they said that they were going to go through all that stuff together. Isn't that interesting? I thought they were already going to coordinate a time where the families could be there while they go through the phone's data. So now they're trying to get everybody together so that they can look and examine the phones together. That's interesting. I figured this already been done by now, right? But this also, I think, is the reason why what T just sent me, I think that's also the reason why Christine has filed subpoenas to social media accounts, because I think she's trying to get some of this stuff done. Excuse me. I think she's trying to get some of this stuff done independently. Okay, and she's trying to go around certain people. If you catch my drift. So Crump was joined by the families of Daniel Irving and Tyler Smith, which we already know. And again, like I said, it's just pretty interesting stuff. So again, like I said, they are subpoenaed. They have subpoenaed social media accounts. Like, I'm assuming it's going to be like Meta, Snapchat, TikTok. So just 3 platforms, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. Okay? 3 platforms owned by Meta, as well as Snapchat, TikTok, and the GPS location tracking and family safety application Life 360. So they want it all of it. Why? Because I don't think that they've been able to go through the phone yet. That's what I think. I don't think that they've been able to go through the phone yet. So they're sitting there going, okay, since we haven't been able to go through the phone yet, we might as well take matters into our own hands. Let's subpoena these companies, these media apps, and demand that they give us all data. So if anything was deleted around July 4th and July 5th and July 6th, or actually July 5th, so July 4th and July 5th, they would be able to see all of that. So legal team for Nolan Wells' mother, Christine, issued subpoenas to several major social media and technology companies in an effort to obtain records of her son's accounts amid questions over his demise. So the court documents, which were obtained by ABC News, were filed last week in Mississippi State Chancery Court and are seeking information from Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. Those are 3, of course, companies owned by Meta. Then you also got Snapchat, TikTok, and the GPS location tracking and family safety application called Life 360. According to the petition, they seek the messages, photos, and videos that were sent and received through Wells' accounts, as well as his GPS data location and timestamps that could provide answers to the family as they seek answers in his death. Each company has 21 days from the receipt of the actual subpoena to quote-unquote produce and permit inspection and copying of all documents, electronically stored information, records, and tangible things designated below and to deliver, mail, transmit, or available or make available for inspection said materials to counsel for petitioner Christine Walmsley. This is what the documents said. So again, like I said, very interesting that they're sitting there going, okay, we haven't been able to go through the phone, but we still can get stuff through all of his apps. There might have been things that were automatically saved in those areas, so on and so forth. So again, boom, boom. They're like, F you. We'll just go around them. If the DA and the FBI are dragging their feet when it comes to getting this stuff unearthed, bet. Nah, you good. Bet that. I got you. I got you. I got something for that ass. Hold up. Subpoena. Let me get all the data. We'll figure it out. If we can't dive through this phone with them together, we will dive through the information on the social media, on these social media accounts, and we'll get the truth through that way too. Because at the end of the day, yeah, there are no answers here. We have not gotten anything answered yet. The only thing that we can say is that, okay, these kids' boat was messed up and the boat was sinking, and that's it. And I'm still saying, what happened? What happened? What happened with Katie? What happened with Katie, man? What happened with Katie and them? That's it. What happened with Katie and them? That's all I want to know. Sheesh. I think it's really dumb that we have not been asking the questions that need to be answered. What happened with Katie and them? And then here's the other thing. I swear to God, I'm going to turn this into a T-shirt. But who's boat number 2? Who's boat number 2? Can anybody answer that for me? Who the F is boat number 2? I don't think we'll ever get that answer. Not anytime soon. It's very frustrating. But I want to go over to News Nation because there is an interview that I did want to check out. Where did it go? Yes, this interview with Cuomo. Let's take a look.
Nearly a month since the body of a black Mississippi teen, Nolan Wells, was found off.
Oh, by the way, don't forget to hit the like button down below, please and thank you. We're almost at 1K. Can we get it to 1K real quick? Please and thank you. Hit the like button down below. Crush it, crush it, crush it. Hit the like button. We got some more things. Hold on. I just need to take a little bit of a water break and everything. I got some other things that we're going to look at here in a second. But again, like I said, who is boat number 2? Who's boat number 2? Okay? I'm sorry, but I feel like that's a legitimate mother-loving question. Who is boat number 2? And then whatever happened to mother-loving Katie? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It should be like,
Katie McCormick? Katie McCormick? Please come to the front desk. Katie McCormick.
That's what it should be. That's what it should be, y'all. That's what it should be. We haven't heard a damn thing from her now, have we? And I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying that she did something nefarious. I'm just saying we should get a little bit more just some more idea of what actually happened with her. But we haven't heard a damn thing, though. Not a damn thing from Katie. What happened, man? What happened to Katie? And then who be boat number 2? Sheesh. I'm done.
The shore of Horn Island. Local authorities were quick to say they had no proof of foul play. But Nolan's parents felt the black teen's mysterious death wasn't getting the full investigation it deserved. In the last few weeks, the case has dominated social media, dueling accusations of racism. Here's what one of the young men with Nolan that day had to say about race playing a part in this case.
His mom got on TV, as everybody has seen, and said that she didn't know me. And, man, that can't be farthest from the truth. Me and her son went on trips together. We went to Florida for spring break together. You don't know me? I'm in all these homecoming and prom photos as our whole friend group. Me and Nolan are standing next to each other. You don't know me. Him being the only black person, minority, any of that manager is insane. Our friend group is diverse from the max. Like, we have a mixed guy. I mean, we had Nolan in our friend group. There's an Asian a part of our friend group. There's a Latino that they're trying to perceive as white. He's truly authentic Mexican. His parents are from Mexico.
Nolan's parents, Christine and Elmore Wansley, join me now with counsel Ben Crump. Thank you for joining us. I'm very sorry it's under these circumstances, but the job here is to give you a platform to keep people aware of your concerns. And Christine, I'll start with you. At this point, what is your biggest question about what's happening with this investigation?
It is really the same question that started it all, which is what happened to Nolan.
Yep.
That is the only question that we want answered. We just want to know what happened to our son. I know I personally, through my social media, also Attorney Ben and his team through their social media, that's been the big focus, just trying to make sure that everyone understands that at the end of the day, we would want what any parent would want, which is answers to find out what happened.
Understood. Elmore, you heard that kid Trace in the interview say that he was friends with Nolan and that you guys would know him. Do you know him? Do you recognize him?
No, I don't. Just because you park your vehicle in someone's yard doesn't mean that they have to know you. Sounds more to me like he's more focused on getting people to know him and getting away from the fact that his so-called best friend is not here anymore. Everyone that they may have interviewed are at home. Our son isn't. Our son should be in college right now. We should be receiving phone calls from him about how his day went, but we can't. And we just want everybody to focus on what the real subject matter is.
Understood. One of the key aspects early on here, counsel, has been Nolan's phone. Originally, with why was it on the boat? Why was he separated from it? There are explanations about that. Was anything done to it? One of the friends responded to that suggestion. Let me play it for you and get your response.
None of us had a reason to go through Nolan's phone. I mean, there's multiple phones on the boat. Why would it be? And the boat was having issues. Why would our concern be getting on Nolan's phone or something? I mean,
if you the concern of getting on his phone would be to hide the conversations of substances, buying substances, or getting substances, maybe drinking as well. Because let's be real, not every parent is just cool with their child underage drinking. You know what I'm saying? So, there are reasons that would make some semblance of sense on why. You know what I mean? But I digress. Oh, Jolly Good Ginger gave a good analysis. We might take a look at that. Hold on.
I don't even know Nolan's password. None of my friends do. We had no reason ever to get on Nolan's phone and look at anything. I didn't even touch Nolan's phone. None of us touched Nolan's phone until somebody took it off the boat and put it in Wyatt's truck, and then no one touched it until we handed it back, to the mom that was at my buddy's house.
Counsel, does that square?
Chris Como, Nolan is dead. We're going to dot every I, we're going to cross every T, we're going to look under every rock. His mother called his phone repeatedly with no answer. That raises questions. That's all we want to get to is answers. If this was your child, Chris Como, wouldn't you want to ask every question possible for everybody who was on Horn Island to say, did you see what happened to Nolan? What happened? Where was he at? And that's all they're asking, and people are attacking them for trying to get answers. Can you imagine that? She's getting attacked at her job. She's getting bad job reviews. She had never gotten any in her entire career. And now, since she's been going on TV saying, I want to get answers for my son, she's been attacked by sick individuals trying to, I guess, in some way discourage them from continuing to say his name and say that we won't let it be swept under the rug.
I understand that. Obviously, that's why we're all together right now, right? Is Christine, I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to get these answers. Do you believe, or do you have any reason to believe, that this investigation is doing exactly what you want it to do?
Sure. Well, we know at the beginning they started out saying there was no foul play even before there was any investigation, Chris. So that was a concern to them at day one.
That was the trigger for why we felt we had to go this route, because it wasn't even hours after they had found his body where I'm watching on the news that the sheriff is saying likely an accidental drowning. We do not feel there's any foul play, but yet stories are not lining up. And so from there, that's why we're here now.
Elmore, again, I really don't know how you guys are holding it together and being able to stay focused. But I'm here for it as long as there is the need. When you look at this situation, what is your darkest concern that you just want to make sure isn't true?
I've already lived my darkest concern. We just want the truth. We just want someone to be brave enough to stand up and give us the truth. We can't grieve the way we need to because we're being disrespected. We're being called all kind of racist, bad parents. We were not raised like that, and we did not raise our children like that. So we just want the truth. Any parent would want that. Any father would want that.
Understood.
Any mother.
Understood and true. And I know that we know one thing, and I know that this is not a time for solace, but there's one thing that has become constant in this story. You raised a beautiful young man who everybody sees exactly through that lens, that he was everything that you would want a son to have. And I have one just about that age. And everything I hear is exactly what you would want to hear, even in this young life. So God bless Nolan and his memory, and we will stay on this story.
Yeah, I got to say this, you know, I mean, I don't know. Like, just imagine being in these families' spot, in their position. I mean, it's just, like I said, it's just, this whole thing is very, very sad. All right. Let's take a look at this.
The lawyer for the family of Nolan Wells reveals new evidence in their investigation into how he died. Wells was only 18 years old when he disappeared during a 4th of July boating trip with friends off the coast of Mississippi's Horn Island. Days later, his body was found in the water off the Gulf Coast, leading the family to commission a separate autopsy. Minutes ago, the family's attorney, Ben Crump, announced that his team has hired oceanic experts and that investigators will also analyze audio tapes connected to the case. ABC ABC's Peter Haralambous joins me now for more. What else did Ben Crump announce today about their investigation?
Yeah, James, Ben Crump basically saying that his team is doing everything they can to figure out what happened to Nolan Wells, vowing to dot every I, cross every T. Three specific steps he mentioned is having these forensic audio experts listen to the radio transmissions from the boat that was supposed to bring Nolan Wells back to shore. They've had these oceanic experts as well, looking at tide charts for the time around July 4th to trace where Nolan Wells' body might have gone, as well as having the doctor who did the autopsy in the case specifically look at Nolan Wells' throat and lungs, trying to figure out if he was conscious when he went into the water. He also implored Nolan Wells' friends to come forward if they have any information, saying, and I quote here, "Do for Nolan what he would have done for you."
Nolan's family is also issuing subpoenas to social media and tech companies to try and get records of their son's account. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, this is a group of civil subpoenas to the companies including Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Snapchat, TikTok, and the GPS tracking app Life 360. This stems back to what Nolan Wells' mother actually told ABC News earlier this month, that when they retrieved his phone, they noticed that it appeared some messages were missing. They're hoping here that by getting the materials themselves from these social media companies, they can figure out what, if anything, is missing from his device.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him for doing all the questions and pushing for more facts. I mean, I'm just saying. I think it's truly important that that they are crossing every, dotting every I or crossing every T and all that stuff. I think it's absolutely important. I think it's absolutely important. And I think it would be wrong for them if they weren't looking into this stuff as best as they can. So I'm just checking something here. Yeah, let's talk about this. Why not?
TMZ podcast, Devin here with Kay.
Kay McKay, first time.
First time. We're off to a really bad start though.
Why?
You stole my
Hold on
seat.
one second.
Oh, is this your seat?
You like date Nolan Wells' other friend, Bart Edmiston Jr. Of Officer Tatum before. I know he has a big following. I looked him up on like Twitter and stuff. So it's not like he was a nobody.
Right.
He definitely has been doing this kind of stuff for a little while.
Right.
But I guess
wait a second. I don't think he would be. Sorry. This TMZ. I'm just putting this up here. Okay. I wouldn't say he's known for this. You know what I mean? Like, he's not known for this. He's not known for investigative journalism. He's known for he's known for, being part of MAGA and, he's more of a political figure. I think he got inspired by Candace Owens and was like, yo, I should, I need to hop on this kind of stuff too. And, he put his own 2 cents in things. And then obviously, a lot of people reacted to what he had to say about things. And then next thing you know, he's getting pulled into this and going, hey, well, this could be a 5 to 6 part series that I could do on my channel. And that's exactly it. Do a Candace Owens. And that's exactly what he did. It's just interesting that, like with the Tyler Robinson stuff with Candace Owens, notice that we haven't really seen her on like mainstream media talking about any of this. That's the only difference. Brandon Tatum now is like doing his circuit, his press junket. You're going to check out my episode where I talked about this and all that, right? But we don't see Candace Owens doing this because I don't think mainstream media likes Candace Owens. I'm really sorry. That's just me though. But I'm trying to get to the part where they're talking about Warren being involved, or Warren's father putting up $50K for a $50K reward. Hold on real quick. Real Rebel, thank you so much for the love. I really do appreciate it. Seems like the family is not saying much far as with the investigation. Is there a reason why? To me, social media is solving the case or trying to. First off, damn right. Let me just say this, though. I feel like social media is desperately trying. I don't think that they're on to anything yet. I don't think that they've unearthed anything yet, but they are out there. They are trying. They're desperately trying, but they're not being successful. I mean, like I said, they said, oh God, Bart, photo with this white girl. Oh, that's Katie. And everyone lost their minds, right? Huge revelation. Oh my gosh, this whole thing's about to unravel. Hold on, wait for it, baby. There's a love triangle involved. And it's like, that ain't Katie, though. So they're desperately doing their due diligence, and I understand, hey, baby, keep doing your due diligence, but you got to cross-reference things real quick. Because just like with us black folks, not all black people look alike. Same thing with white folks. Not all white people, not all white girls look like Katie. You see what I'm saying? So I get the desire and the passion behind trying to find out and trying to crack the case before anybody else cracks the case. But it hasn't been successful yet. Again, I'm waiting to hear now what the audio experts that Benjamin Crump has hired. I'm wondering if they're going to say, yes, the stuff in the beginning is truly what they're saying. And if that is, wow. You know what I mean? Messi just said, thank you so much for the super chat. PSA, not all white doll look the same. Not all white doll. Oh, folk. Not all white folk look the same. Yeah, that's true. Even black folk. Not all black folk look the same either. You know? Not all of them. There are some doppelgangers out there, but that's on every race. You know? Swear to God, last week I saw somebody look just like Kim Jong-un. Swear to God. But he had like a buzz cut. He didn't have the haircut, the high top haircut. And I was like, damn, is that Kim? Damn, son. Why are you in America? He had neck tattoos and everything. But he looked a lot like him. There are doppelgangers. Okay. So, again, you got audio experts coming in, another set of audio experts coming in, and they're going to deep dive into the audio. So now we got to sit and wait to see if they're going to be like, yes, it's true. They were talking about killing Nolan in that audio. Or they might be like, no, nothing's going on. They're talking about the boat. Yes, they're talking about the boat. We'll see. We'll see. Because again, let's be real. I really want to get that kind of figured out so we can either move on from that audio or we go and we take these mother lovers down. You understand? That's it. The more when we get that unearthed, we can either really put these guys on the chopping block and side eye, give them the hard side eye, or we can let them go and we start looking at other avenues because we can't only just be looking at the boys. We can't only be looking at his friends that were on that boat that was sinking allegedly. We have to look at Katie. We have to look at all the other people that he apparently was talking to after his friends left the island. When they say he was still alive, kicking it, drinking, they say he was heavily drinking. What about those people? And then again, what about boat number 2? Boat number 2, though. You know what I mean? But let's hear a little bit of this. I'm trying to find the thing about Warren, the Warren's daddy. Let's take a listen.
The controversy is just that Warren does this big interview, this sit down with someone that no one's ever heard of, and everyone's like, well, why did they pick him and not go to the Today Show or just more typical outlets you would see people go to? And I mean, he's just defending that people are thinking he was cherry picked because he's gonna basically put out content and an interview that favors them and not actually be a journalist. But he's defending that and saying everyone in this case has had the right to choose whoever they want to tell their story or represent them, similar to how the Wells family are using Ben Crump.
Rightfully so. And, you know, when situations like this do happen and, you know, you typically do see the parents go to the Today Show or CBS This Morning, things like that. All fine and dandy, but sometimes, like he was just discussing of Nolan Wells' mother picking Ben Crump, sometimes you just have to be strategic in how you want to handle situations in order for it to be brought to light in the most respectful way, because this is so serious.
Right.
With Ben Crump representing the Wells family, you know, like he said, they could have went with any other attorney. I'm sure a lot of attorneys wanted to take this, you know, case. However, I'm sure there was a thought process within Nolan Wells' mother and father. Like, Ben Crump has a record of, you know, civil rights cases, and I do believe that they think this is along the lines of a civil rights case, and so that might have been their, you know, reasoning of picking a Ben Crump. Same with everybody has their reasonings of why they wanted to choose Officer Tatum other than other journalists. So you just got
Interesting. I don't think I don't think Brandon Tatum. I don't consider him a journalist. I consider him like a pundit or a commentator. You know what I mean? But that's, you know, that's just my personal opinion, right? Let me see here. I'm trying to find the part about this, you know, Warren's father. Hold on.
And he's kind of put his side out because he's done these interviews with Officer Tatum where he's basically kind of like said, like, I had nothing to do with this, detailed every last thing that happened that day, gave some evidence, like that video of their boat leaving.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the crazy part of this story is obviously it's a national story. People want answers. No one wants answers, obviously more so than Nolan Wells' parents.
For sure.
But Dr. Hudson says not only are they giving up a $50,000 reward, but they've been receiving death threats.
Yeah.
And he says credible ones. And see, that's the problem sometimes where in today's day and age with social media, it is great because there's all these like online sleuths that like do actually find video and find evidence, and it is great. But there is also the counter to that is there's all these people who are, you know, blaming people or you know, threatening people that may or may not have anything to do with Nolan Wells' disappearance, which is what the Hudsons are saying.
Right. And that can easily prevent and keep people who actually know information from coming forward because they're fearful for their lives, rightfully so. And like you said, social media is such a powerful tool where people from across the world will have access to your account. And I'm sure death threats are coming from across the world because, as you know, this is a national, I would even argue that this will soon be an international case.
For sure. And that'll be interesting.
I mean, it's been an international case. I mean, whoever's watching this show right now overseas, just type in what country you're watching this show from. Okay? Just type in what country you're watching this show from. If it's US of A, you could put it in there too. But I just want to know how many of y'all are watching this show, okay, from other countries. Type it, put it in the comments. I just really would like to know, okay?
Interesting. Obviously, him offering up that money, we can hope because it doesn't seem like law enforcement at least isn't saying that there's been any really credible leads yet. And hopefully maybe you throw some money out there and someone like you said who may have been scared of, you know, being looped into this and threatened by people online will now be like, oh, well, for $50K, like I might actually be willing to come forward because I may have seen something.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that leads to anything. The second story.
So again, I do think it's interesting that the dad, you know, Warren's dad has gone out of his way to basically like put out an award, a reward. I know a lot of people are side-eyeing that, and I don't know what, I don't know why he's doing that. Does that make sense? You know, that's one thing I'm still trying to understand. Why did Warren's dad put up his own reward? It almost feels like it's too little too late. With all due respect, it just feels a little too late. You see what I'm saying? It's like one moment you're saying, you know, you got your son who isn't saying anything at all, and then suddenly he goes on the Brandon Tatum show and he's like, okay, here's everything, warts and all. And then right after that, it's like, oh yeah, $50,000 too. What is that? What do you guys think? Is that a smart move? Does that exonerate the you know, Warren and the boys, or no? Just asking questions. Okay? because I do think it's interesting. Do I have that up here? Let me, do I have it? Yes. Like this. I just find it interesting. You know, offering a $50,000 reward. Do you think that makes him look like he's innocent, or do you think that this makes him look sus as hell? Okay. Father of Nolan Wells, you know, friends, you know, offering a hefty cash reward in hopes of shedding light in the mysterious circumstances surrounding, my Lord, I can't talk anymore, surrounding Nolan Wells' demise. So, Dr. Benjamin Hudson, the father of Warren Hudson, tells TMZ he's offering the reward for any information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the person responsible for Nolan Wells' demise. That leads to the arrest and conviction of the person responsible for Nolan's demise. Does he know something? Because you'd think that he would say just $50,000 for any information that could give us more light on what happened to him. But instead he says the same thing that Tyler Perry, Terrell Owens, and Al Sharpton are saying. We want the same thing, guys. So now it's $175,000 on the docket. 175,000 buckets. All right? I just think that's interesting. Laying a $50,000 reward on the table for information that leads to investigators to whoever may be responsible. The teen's father also makes it clear his family isn't pointing any fingers, telling us we don't know that anyone had any involvement, but we care about Nolan and want to find out what happened. This seems like a desperate move. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. It does not mean, I'm just going to say this too. It does not mean that we should be looking at them and be like, ooh, that's suspicious. That's real suspicious. Ooh, that's suspicious. That's real suspicious. No. I'm not saying that at all. I just think it's a little bit of a desperate move to try to get people to be like, oh, you put up 50,000? Oh, okay, we ain't messing with you no more. You innocent. Okay, bye. We sorry. We sorry we came up to your front door and said some things. Yeah, you put up 50,000 though, so that means your son didn't do anything. Okay, our bad. Okay, our bad. Okay, you stay blessed now. You stay blessed. All right, now you stay okay. God bless you now. Bye. Like that's not going to change anything. You understand that, right? It's too little, too late. This kind of reward by them should have been done long ass time ago. Should have. You don't find that a little interesting? It doesn't mean suspicious. It just means bad timing. You know? Dr. Hudson also firmly defends the teenagers who were with Nolan that day, saying he believes the boys on the 3 boats had no involvement in Nolan's demise, and plainly puts it as, quote unquote, we still don't know what happened. Yeah, that's true. We don't know what happened at all. He says the Hudson family has been living through a nightmare since the case captured national attention. And according to Dr. Hudson, his family, has received thousands of threats of the unthinkable kind. I mean, threats in general, not great. Something he believes has made it even harder for investigators to get the information they need. The father speculates the intense public scrutiny may have discouraged potential witnesses from coming forward, adding, we feel people aren't talking because of the pressure of the case. Offering the $50,000 reward, Dr. Hudson says he hopes anyone with credible information will finally step forward so Nolan's loved ones can get answers and investigators can determine exactly what happened. As you know, well, we already know about this stuff, okay? Investigators have announced they are looking at Nolan's death as a potential accidental drowning with no evidence of a crime. as his family and the public anxiously wait for answers on what actually happened to Nolan Wells. Now, here's the thing. You know what I have a feeling is going to happen? This is my prediction. I have a feeling the other boys' parents are going to start throwing up money as well. Because it's going to be like, well, wait a second. If this exonerates my son, maybe I just throw a $10,000 or a $20,000 reward on top of this, because we need to find out what happened to Nolan Wells. So let's just do that really quick. You see what I'm saying? It just seems like a weird move. It's a weird move happening. But again, like I said, it doesn't mean foul play. It doesn't mean that their kid did anything. But I do think it's interesting that it's like almost like a desperate move to basically say, like, please stop putting so much pressure on my son. We're putting up money too. See? It's almost like, hold up. This is almost like that feeling like what he probably does for a lot of his kids' problems. He just pays it away. Ooh, I said it. Oh, my God. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Snap. Like that. Oh, he got a problem? Just give him a couple money. Couple bucks. Okay? Just pay the problem away. Pay it away. You didn't see him steal that. I just gave you $100, son. You didn't see Warren do anything. Okay? I just gave you $1,000. This car accident didn't really happen. We're going to pay for the accident. Okay? My son was not drunk driving at all. You didn't see that. You know, it's giving Murdoch vibes a little bit. Just a little bit. Like, we're just going to pay it off. How much do you need so that they can just get off your ass, son? I got the checkbook out. Just tell me who I need to make this out to. How much? Seriously. Money's not a problem. Just tell 50? What? 20? 10? 30? 50,000. Okay, we're going to do 50,000, all right? Send this to them and say reward. Shows that you're innocent. We can pay them off. We can pay these people to look the other way. Don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing. Come on. Take that check. Send it over there. Let them know we're willing to put down 50,000. See? Now you're innocent, son. Now the media will get off your ass. Congratulations. Daddy came through and paid it off. Again. You see what I'm saying? Interesting. Leonard, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. This is pity money. Let's be real. Since they a tight-knit community. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but does feel like the daddy's paying off, like he's trying to pay his problems away. That's what it feels like. Daddy got money. Dr. Hudson. So it's like, okay, how much do I need to pay so that everybody can start looking the other way? Okay, $50K. That's fine. Now, see, you're a part of it. Now you're a part of the situation. Now you're on the good side. You're with Tyler Perry now. Yes. And the Al Sharptons. Yes. And football legend. Yes. Yes, Terrell Owens. Yes. So now everybody will look at you on the good side, trying to get the truth, son. It's the best $50,000 I'll ever have to pay, if ever I have to pay it. Interesting, right? See, this is why I love doing these shows live, like these topics live, because this would not have like popped up in my head until much later. You know, I'd be home, like sitting on the toilet, video's already up and everything, and I'd be like, oh, you know what I mean? And I had already done it, video already done, on the toilet, you know, nighttime. Topic been done, on the toilet, thinking about it, go, oh, I could, oh, wow, ha, ha, you know, spraying that Febreze, angry. I'm just saying. That's why I love doing these lives. Yeah. Just saying. Just saying, baby. Just saying. So yeah, guys, let me see. Let me see if there's any more updates. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's it for now. I may be back on in a few hours, rap with you guys about a couple other things. But again, like I said, there were a lot of people out there. Somebody knows something. Who knows it? I don't know. But there was a lot of people there. He was out there kicking it and having a great time. What's really interesting about this is that no one has spoken out. And you know, you never know. Maybe that was the whole point of these threats that were made to these kids, and now that it's public knowledge, maybe that's the whole point. These threats are there to stop people from actually speaking out, those eyewitnesses, etc. Because there's no way he just went out there and no one saw anything. I just think that's weird. That did he go and pass out on the beach? And then he's like, he was freaking out and he's so drunk that maybe he was just like, I'm just going to swim back home or something like that. And then something bad happened. I mean, it's just, like I said, it's weird. It's very weird. But somebody knows something. Even if it is like, I saw him, he was drunk, he was sitting on the beach, his head was hanging down, he was really inebriated, but I let him alone. Even that would be nice to hear. You know, some other information, because all we're talking about is the boat around 3 o'clock. We have not heard anything else afterwards. There's a whole timeline that we should be hearing about. What about Katie? And what about the people that were supposed to give him a ride back? That boat number 2. Where is that? Where's that info? We need all that. And I wish somebody would message this information and those 2 questions to Benjamin Crump and to the family. Real talk. Because honestly, those are the 2 things I think that they need to start asking questions about. They can't just sit there and think, oh, it was just the guys. Katie was the last person to see this man alive. Period. Is that actually true? Where did he walk off to? Did he jump in the water after he was talking to her? So on and so forth, right? They remember, they said there was speculation of people getting a little, a guy and a girl in the water getting a little frisky, right? What was going on there? Why were they getting frisky? Was it because they were getting it on? Was it Katie and Nolan? Or was it something else? You see what I'm saying? Oh, it's just frustrating. Anyway, Leonard, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. So they got money for information. Why not send money for the funeral that Warren claims he couldn't attend? Make it make sense. He probably couldn't attend it because of the threats. Think about that for a second. We got to keep that in consideration. We got to keep that in mind. Maybe they didn't show up because they were scared about how the people would react with them being there. Angry mob doesn't sound like a great idea, right? Even myself, I'd be like, ooh, I don't know. Maybe I send flowers or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. Something. I'd do something, okay? But I don't know about showing up because I wouldn't want to get jumped, and I wouldn't want to deter from people being able to say goodbye properly to the person that they love. And if by me showing up is getting them angry, I don't want to be the part of it. You know, I don't want to be the problem. You see what I'm saying? So I could see why the kids didn't go to the funeral. You know what I mean? At least the ones that were directly connected, possibly connected to his disappearance. But moving on. Pascal, I sent you a milestone, but I feel like maybe you will see this one. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for the coverage. What milestone? I didn't see the milestone. But my miracle mama, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate all the support. Seriously, thank you. What milestone? I didn't see it. Definitely let me know. But yeah, like I said, guys, I mean, there's just a lot with this that I think we just need to get a better idea of, you know, what actually happened. And I think that it's more than just the 3 o'clock boat phone call CETO thing. And I think people are hovering around that too much. I do think that. I think there's more to this, and I think it's after. It's around Katie. It's on the island when his friends left. Yeah, his friends did him dirty by leaving him behind, for sure. Definitely for sure. All right? But I'm talking about everything that happened afterwards, right? Afterwards. So, we will see. We will definitely see. Okay. Oh, really? Really? Hold on. Let me reboot this real quick. Okay. Yeah, crazy. So, again, of course, we'll find out more information. I may be back on this evening because obviously there's a lot of ongoing stuff percolating still in these streets. We got a lot of questions. We got a lot to discuss. So we will be talking then as well. But that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Really means a lot. Thank you so much for being part of the show. Please do me a favor before you head out. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. I'm on all of them. Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. Don't forget to subscribe here on my YouTube channel. Subscribe. Come on. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe as well. Please and thank you. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it's random, and whenever we get time. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Please and thank you. Check out that Patreon, and of course, check out pascalmerch.com. Anyway, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Stay safe out there, and I will see you guys very, very soon. I don't know, maybe a call-in show in the future. I don't know yet, T. We'll think about it. We'll definitely think about it. But it's time to get going. Talk to you guys soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is the Pascal